We're going to have a test, an audio test. So please bear with me. I am in position 1 for the audio test. 1 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. 1 for the audio test. I am now in position 3 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. Oh, fuck off. Come on, man. 1 for the audio test. I am now in position 3 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. Oh, fuck off. Come on, man. 1 for the audio test. I am now in position 3 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. Oh, fuck off. Come on, man. 1 for the audio test. I am now in position 3 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. Oh, fuck off. Come on, man. 1 for the audio test. I am now in position 3 for the audio test. I am in position 1 for the audio test. Oh, fuck off. Oh, wow. Is that a start? 1 for the audio test. Alright. Alrighty then. Looks like we definitely get some audio, that's for sure. Now, let's get back to business, shall we? Alright, oh, there you are. Okay. It's Sunday, 5th of November. Remember, the United States goes to vote in 3 days. In 3 days. The United States goes to vote in 3 days. Okay. Big deal, right? Well, yeah, sort of. But anyway, today, there's a couple of things I want to focus on. Number one, I need to focus on, on getting me the hell out of this big, huge screen, because I am also watching this game in England. There's oh my god, Chelsea's kicking Everton's ass. 5-0. Oh, those poor people have got 25 minutes to play still. Poor Everton. Wow. I didn't realize. I think it was 3-0 halftime. Now it's 5-0. I expected a game out of it, but anyway, that's the only game in the English Premiership that's actually on right now. However, I have some videos lined up that could keep us occupied for the next hour, I think. There's mainly short ones and one 20 or something minute one, so maybe not even an hour. However, I'm just going to run through what I'm going to be presenting to you, so you have the option of saying, or you can actually join the Hangout and watch and comment. What we could do, if anybody, if enough of you join the Hangout, if anybody actually does join the Hangout, then once I run a video through, and we can actually discuss it if you'd like. So, firstly, it's going to be a Sean Hannity final rant. I thought it would be. It's only 6 minutes long, and it should be awesome to listen to. And then we have some new WikiLeaks coming out. Okay, so Amicus, Humani, Generis. He's got one. Only about a minute long. Probably. Oh, okay. It's only about a minute long, but it highlights some of the emails. And then our Dr. Ted Noel comes back to talk a bit about Hillary's Parkinson's. Then H.A. Goodman, he really tells you what's going on in WikiLeaks 31. And then there's something I found about the FBI. That's the one. Oh, it's 37 minutes long. It could not be. It could be something that's conspiracy theory, but I don't know. I don't think it is. It's by the WTF files. No, I don't know who they are either. But they're trademarked, or at least they say they are. I don't know. Let's just give it a listen. If we get there. Periodically, I should be checking things like the side chat, the external chat, the Hangout, stuff like that. But that's periodically. I should just set all this up so I'm actually on top of the game to some extent, huh? Michael. Hello. Veckel. Hello. Okay, let me as I see you, well, come on in if you think you, well, you're obviously there, you can come on in. You guys all on the Trump train with me? Trump. Nice, good to see. Sorry, I'm just setting up my controls here so I don't have to fumble around too much. Anyway, Chelsea 5, Everton nothing. That's horrible. Anyway, I guess the match we don't have to watch anymore. So why don't we get to watch the first video? Let's get in and on and out and in and on and out. I'm not quite ready, so just give me one little moment to set up while the construction equipment sort of makes its way by. What is that thing? Either a salting machine or a heavy laden machine with something. All right, or truck. I should say, big huge truck. Okay. All right then. I think Hannity's gonna look right about there. What do you think? About there? You think Hannity should be more sort of, hello Hannity? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, tell you what, let's get Hannity to say what he has to say. Give me one more moment, please, for artistic license. Did that help? Let me just double check. I'm messing around a little bit, I know. Doesn't really help, does it? Doesn't make a difference.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton and her partner in crime, Barack Obama, they have hit a shameful and absolutely despicable new low in American politics. This is a story the rest of the media, as Megan was saying, will not tell you about, but we will tonight. For now, the second day in a row, the President of the United States, while campaigning for Hillary Rodham Clinton, accused Donald Trump of something that is outright false without any evidence that he supports the KKK. This is the President of the United States.
If you accept the support of Klan sympathizers, if you don't denounce them right away because you're kind of not sure, well, that's what you're going to do when you're in office.
All right, that's the President of the United States going as deep in the gutter as anybody can get, playing racial politics. Why? To scare African-American voters into voting for a candidate and a party that has a long history of rampant racism. Like when Vice President Joe Biden, you may remember this.
Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Every 4 years, these Democrats relentlessly are pandering to minority voters. Here's Hillary Clinton using a phony Southern accent. She changes her tone, her pitch, her cadence, her entire speaking approach while speaking to African Americans. Watch this.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Remember when she called young black men super predators? Take a look.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
Now, all of these examples are clearly shocking, but they're not surprising. And the reason why are the Democrats trying to play the race card against Donald Trump? Is it because Hillary Clinton has nothing to run on? Stop for 1 second. Hillary Clinton has been in public service 40 years of her life. Can you think of 3 specific accomplishments that have improved the lives of the American people? Because I can't. She is the single most corrupt, the single most dishonest candidate, the single most self-aggrandizing and enriching candidate to ever seek the presidency. Now think about this. If she wins on Tuesday, Clinton could be indicted while in office. She will spend all of her time certainly fighting off any type of indictment or criminal charges against her. Well, that will create in this country a massive constitutional crisis. Now, we also have new polling that suggests Americans think this will happen. According to our latest Fox News poll, 47% of likely voters say it is very or somewhat likely that the FBI review of Clinton's emails will lead to criminal charges. And a brand new McClatchy poll just out tonight shows a total of 83% of likely voters believe that Clinton has done something wrong. I'll interpret illegal. We also now are learning that the FBI has opened investigations into Clinton's private email server and into the Clinton Foundation. Now, this is the private server that FBI agents say there is a 99% chance, because of her recklessness, her unwillingness to obey the law, a 99% chance that up to 5 foreign intelligence agencies hacked into and stole her emails. Now, that's the private server that contained classified, top secret, and even the highest classification special access program information on that server. Remember, it was a mom and pop shop in a bathroom closet? This all despite Hillary Clinton saying repeatedly that it didn't. There are also the 33,000 emails that her team, remember, they didn't wipe it with a cloth, they used bleach bit. In other words, they acid washed it, so as Trey Gowdy said, God couldn't find it if he wanted to. And that was to permanently erase after Hillary was served with a congressional subpoena to preserve all those emails. And now, of course, thanks to WikiLeaks, we also know her own aides questioned if Hillary Clinton actually turned over all of the work-related emails. And right now, tonight, CBS News is reporting that the FBI has found new emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop, not duplicates. As for the Clinton Foundation, the FBI is investigating the Clintons' pay-to-play practices, and sources in the FBI are saying an avalanche of new evidence is coming in every day. Now, WikiLeaks exposed the Clintons' own aide that called it Bill Clinton Inc. Remember, they were broke when they left the White House? How did they get $200+ million? This is a scheme directly tied to the foundation the former president used to line his pockets with all of that money. And remember, the AP reported that of all the people, individuals that saw Hillary when she was Secretary of State, well, 55% non-government people, they were people that donated to the Clinton Foundation or pledged to donate to the Clinton Foundation. Pretty outrageous any way you look at it. Anyway, not to mention the tens of thousands of millions of dollars, rather, the Clinton Foundation has accepted. Remember countries that treat women, gays, lesbians, Christians, and Jews horribly? Countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the UAE, Brunei, Qatar, Oman, Algeria. Did Hillary ever criticize these countries? Women are told how to dress. They can't drive in Saudi Arabia. They can't go to work or school without a man's permission. In Qatar, did you know that marital rape was legal? Marital beatings are legal of women? Did you know in Saudi Arabia, gays and lesbians are killed? Christians and Jews, you can't build a temple or a Christian church. They're persecuted. Anyway, joining us now from Ted's Montana Grill in Illinois, the author of now the bestseller Treason, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. For 2 days in a row now, they're playing the race card and using the Klan. What does that tell you?
It tells you that they're desperate and they're terrified. You can always measure how much trouble they're in by the intensity of their attack and the degree of their desperation. And I think it's pretty clear now, as you just pointed out, you know, when you have 87% of the country that thinks you did something wrong, you got an uphill climb to get to be president. When you have over half the country that thinks you might have a criminal indictment, it gets pretty tough to get those last votes.
Oh my God. What do you think of that? Anybody want to discuss it? Anybody? Anybody of that? No. Nobody. No problem. So that was Hannity. I'm going to sort of kind of move through these. I think as quickly as possible, because why waste time? I mean, like, why waste time? Let me go quickly check in on Chelsea and see how Everton's getting the ass kicked. Well, let's just do it here. Still 5-0, 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Wow. Poor Everton. We'll get into the as it stands Premiership tables perhaps afterwards, but right now, bye. Right, so who we got next? We got all right, we got a minute of Amicus Humani Generis. He's gonna be presenting some highlighted pieces of emails, but let me so that the man gets some due recognition, let me at least put his name up. And then and then, you know, there we go. Come on, John, where are you gonna stay? You gonna stay there? Stand there? Oh, good. That's good enough. John Podesta. Let's see if we can get something legible out of this. There, that'll work. Okay. Play on, John.
Today is November 5th, 2016. This is Amicus. Today, WikiLeaks just dropped Podesta emails number 31. This one is from John Podesta, and he sends, Christ the King mixed with a little terrorism does that. Sorry, even the Catholic Church got long-winded today. Now, what a lot of people are thinking this is he's mocking the Catholic Church. He's also mocking Christ, and this is right after the terrorist attacks in Paris. And so a lot of people are kind of outraged by this. I just wanted to bring you, this is just some of the new WikiLeaks that are out. And yeah, it looks like John Podesta is not too happy about Christ the King mixed with a little terrorism. And he's basically referring to people that are, are indoctrinated into the Christian religion, Catholic religion, whatever it is. And he's saying that, if you believe in Christ and you mix that with a little bit of the scripture, it gives you terrorism. So John Podesta is not a very cool man, especially that he's spirit cooking and all this other stuff. Anyways, I'll bring you some more news. This one is just a lighter story, but I'm going to get to the Bernie Sanders one. Cisco, pay for play, a bunch of things. So stick around. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Oh, don't tell me you're going to go start fucking playing, oh, he hates Christians, so therefore he's a bad person. Bullshit. Oh, no. I think, that's funny. I think that any mention of fucking the Christians or using the Christians or Christian this and Christian that is great. Fuck the Christians. Why would you want to pander to them? That's ridiculous. So, thumbs up to Podesta for standing up for people like me, for atheists. Thanks, John. Okay, I am going to officially put John Podesta into the atheist camp right now, because that's where I think it is. I'm based on that. It must be. Anybody want to talk about this? Anybody want to chat about it? If not, I'm going to go to my next. I'm going to go to my next presentation. Now this, again, I've introduced Dr. Ted Noel before. He is the doctor, I guess, that has been following Hillary's health for some time. I'll just give you his name. He's right there, Dr. Ted Noel. And where is this damn thing? Oh, there we go. He's been watching her health. He thinks that Hillary has Alzheimer's, I think it is. And he's been reporting on kind of developments as he sees them from the perspective of Alzheimer's symptoms and stuff. So let me get Ted to start yakking at you. Ted!
Welcome to VidZet. I'm Dr. Ted Noel, and today I had planned on making a very short video. Instead, as things have developed...
Okay, well then let's get you on... Why can't we see you, bud? Why we cannot see you, buddy? Why we cannot see you, buddy? Alright, there you are. Oops. Let's see. That's kind of not really, what's the word? It's not really... There we go. That's more in sort of proportion, right? Proportion, that's the right word. Alright, Ted, go for it.
I have a whole bunch of notes, so let me get right to it. The original version of this video contained a reference to a John Podesta email talking about Hillary Clinton's body odor. Since the video was posted, it has become clear that there is a very large question about whether that email is real. As a result, this video has been edited and the original taken down. Thank you. We've talked about her having Parkinson's disease. That is, Hillary Clinton has demonstrated signs of the disease. We had the head-bobbing cold chai incident, and we had the balloon drop at the Democrat National Convention where she has that funny face in the oculogyrate crisis. Then in virtually every public event after that, we've seen her eyes crossing. Now, all three of these are what we call Parkinson's disease, levodopa-induced dyskinesia. That is, bad movement caused by levodopa. And Parkinson's disease patients get these 5 to 10 years after they start taking levodopa, and they basically can't avoid it. We've also seen pill-rolling tremors. We've seen head-nodding tremors. So the diagnosis is fairly solid here. We also have seen a Parkinson's disease rage demonstrated at the What Difference Does It Make event when she was testifying before Congress. And a couple of days ago, a protester at one of her rallies popped up with a sign that says Bill is a rapist and Hillary is a criminal, and she just flat lost it.
I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump.
This is probably a Parkinson's disease rage. This is part of the impulsive behavior and over-exaggerated emotional response that Parkinson's patients often get. Now, how do you treat Parkinson's? We've talked about the drugs. The idea is to reduce motion abnormalities. But there's another thing that a lot of people have been wondering about called a deep brain stimulator. And basically, a deep brain stimulator is an electrical device. You'll have a little gadget that sits under the skin, typically in the upper part of the chest. Under the skin, there is a lead that runs up the side of the neck, up over the head, and down into the brain, into the right place. Now, this is usually positioned in an attempt to make it almost invisible. And most of the time, you don't see anything. There are a handful of photographs that suggest that there is a lead in this region, but we can't be entirely certain. There's also a CT scan slice with all of the appropriate identifying information to strongly suggest that she has a lead in her brain. The problem is we don't know where that picture came from. Is it true or not? But then recently, one of the doctors I correspond with said, let's look at the statistics. It turns out that if you are just one of the ordinary people in the population, in order to get a sinus thrombosis, that is a stroke in the brain from clotting one of the veins. Remember, Hillary had this. She had a transverse sinus thrombosis. The risk is 1.3 out of 100,000 people. That's a very small risk. And all the docs who've talked about it have said how small this risk is. But let us take another look. It turns out that if you put a deep brain stimulator lead in, the risk is 1.3 per 100. Not per 100,000, per 100. That means the risk is 1,000 times higher. Now, as we look at that, we say, wait a minute. She got this very rare complication. What is it that set it off? Well, now let's look for a deep brain stimulator. Does she have a reason to have one? Yes, because deep brain stimulators are used to control the motor problems, the motion problems that come with Parkinson's disease. So now we have a presumptive possibility, and I'm going to call it plausible. It's not confirmed, but I'm going to say it's plausible that she has an implanted deep brain stimulator. The next line of inquiry comes with emails. We know on September 23 of 2009, Huma Abedin sent an email to Hillary, did you bring your earpiece or shall I go get it? Why would she want an earpiece? We have since learned that earpieces are used, that is, specific earpieces are used by Parkinson's sufferers to raise the level of background noise in order to make them speak at a good level because they have a tendency to speak softly. In 2011, Hillary wrote to Cheryl Mills about decision fatigue. And we remember the language, that's spooky familiar. And the idea is she's having fatigue making decisions. She's tired. And there's a drug called Provigil that they were talking about that helps with it. Well, if you recall, our earlier discussions about Parkinson's point out that tiredness, fatigue, is common in Parkinson's. And so decision fatigue would be one of the things that we would anticipate could arise. Then we skip ahead to 2013. This is finally after the concussion. Remember, that was in December 2012. And Huma writes to other staff members saying that Hillary is often confused. In another email, she talks about she's often in bed for a nap. That's going to come up again. She goes through what Bill said was a 6-month recovery. And then we have, in August of 2014, now this is a year and a half after the concussion, an email from Podesta where there is a discussion of how to handle some foreign affairs question, and he writes and says, not in this channel, let's move it to a more secure channel, implying that Hillary is not using good judgment in where she's putting sensitive discussions. Then we move to 2015. In February, her staff members talk on the emails about her having the worst judgment. Does this sound familiar? Remember, Parkinson's patients have difficulty making good decisions. They have trouble reasoning forward from cause to effect. And this leaves them in a position where they just don't make good decisions. Then in August of 2015, Jennifer Palmieri talks about scheduling a particular event so that Hillary has time to be in her right headspace. Now, the campaign has tried to play that language down, but we already understand that Parkinson's patients have up and down episodes. They have on and off times. And, excuse me, the off times would be times when she's not in her right headspace. A little later in August, you have Huma Abedin writing, "This was a great day. She was zen. She was in a good headspace." In other words, she was during that time Joe describes his Aunt B as being, she looks normal. We move to September of 2015. Once again, we have emails that say she makes terrible decisions. A little bit later in September, what planet is she on? Pointing out that Hillary isn't thinking like anybody else. It's almost like she can't connect that we're at a particular place in a particular discussion in a campaign. She is somewhere else and can't join us. Her head's not working well. In October, we then find discussions of scheduling certain things around Hillary's body clock. That almost certainly refers to the fact that she's had on states and off states, and if they time it properly, they can run through to the end of an off state, get her medicated, have her look good, and proceed to the next event. The WikiLeaks emails stop about there, probably because they were hacked at the end of 2015. We don't have those emails from this year. But what we do have is some very telling conversation. On the campaign airplane after the third debate, Hillary specifically said, "No more naps." Why would she talk about naps? Obviously, she'd been taking a lot of naps. And if she's been taking a lot of naps, we have to ask why. Is she just not able to keep up the schedule? Remember, fatigue and off states are common parts of Parkinson's disease. Then, just 2 days ago, in North Carolina at 2 separate campaign stops, she made 2 very large gaffes. At one of them, she couldn't remember the election date of November 8. She said, on January 20, when I'm elected, talking about, well, you're going to elect me then. And then on another stop, she couldn't remember the name of the town and kept repeating the wrong name for a town. These are the kinds of things that happen for someone who is confused. Again, a common thing in Parkinson's disease. So what do we have? We have a pattern of confusion and bad judgment. This is typical of Parkinson's dementia. Remember, the key element in Parkinson's dementia is the inability to reason forward to make good decisions. It also includes the inability to multitask, where I'm working on one thing, a new problem comes up, I fix the new problem, I come back where I started. Can't do that in Parkinson's disease. It just doesn't work. What is our outlook if by some chance she is elected? We're going to have a president who's unable to work a full schedule. The decisions will mostly be made by her staff, not by her. She simply will not be able to take the 3 a.m. phone call. And guess what? It only gets worse. Remember our last video. Parkinson's disease follows a downhill course. It doesn't get better. So all of this decision difficulty will get worse and worse. But the real problem we have here is, since her staff are the ones who are really going to be making the decision, are they going to be willing to blow the whistle and say she can't do it? No, they're empowered. So why wouldn't they want to keep her in as long as possible, making decisions that benefit them, instead of saying, she can't do it, she's out, oh, by the way, that means we're out too. I'm sorry, she's too sick to elect. We cannot afford someone whose mind is this badly impaired in the White House. I'm Dr. Ted Noel. Thanks for watching.
Wow, man. What do you think of that? Oops, sorry. Let me get big. Huh? Something worth speaking about before we carry on to the next video? If anybody wants to come into the Hangout, obviously, as you can see, it's not being broadcast at this point because there's no one in it but me. I'm just going to go fill up my coffee. So, yeah, if you want to come in. You got a few minutes, you got a few seconds. And if nothing else has changed, then we'll just proceed to the next speaker. Be right back. Alrighty then. Anybody in the Hangout? Let me go check. I tell you what I'm going to do. Make you guys feel wanted and needed and cuddled. How about that? So what I'll do is I'm going to introduce the Hangout into this feed. All right. Yeah, that's the one. Where we're going to put you guys. Let's see, how about there? Not great at all. Not great at all. But in the well, I guess while the videos are playing, it's yeah, there you go. See, that's kind of. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just sort of dim it a bit. There you go. So if people come in, they come in, and it'll be easier for me to see who's in, and it'll be just easier for me to communicate, and maybe we have to stop the video for something and talk or whatever. But yeah, so thank you, Dr. Noel. We appreciate it. Next up is probably one of my top 3 favorite news analysts or news presenters, I guess, alternative media, and that's H.A. Goodman. He specifically says that it's WikiLeaks 28, 29, 30, 31, whatever. So let me get him going, because he's I really like his attitude. He's a badass. Yeah, so we want to find him, and we want to figure out where. There you are. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just see if I can. There we go, Mr. Goodman. I think it's good enough, huh? Oops. How about right there? And this guy can go right there. And, yeah, H.A., give it.
My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC and RT appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. My RT link to Crosstalk, my appearance on Crosstalk, is below. WikiLeaks 31 is out. WikiLeaks 31 is out. There's an email in WikiLeaks 31 where they know that Bernie Sanders is going to lose, even if he wins the first two contests, even if he wins Iowa and New Hampshire, or if he were to win Iowa. So he lost Iowa by the slightest of margins, and he, of course, won New Hampshire. And then he, of course, was cheated by the DNC. We know this. When people say, well, you know, he wasn't cheated. Debbie Wasserman Schultz lost her job. So we know the emails are authentic because people are losing their job. Debbie Wasserman Schultz and 4 other Democratic officials lost their job. Donna Brazile lost her job at CNN. So we know, and for feeding questions to Hillary Clinton, so we know the DNC WikiLeaks emails are authentic, genuine, and we know they lead to repercussions. When people say, oh, well, you know, the Russians are trying to influence our election, which is unbelievable because Russia, China, and Iran, according to Defense Secretary Robert Gates, almost certainly hacked into Clinton's server. And we know from one report that 5 nations have hacked into Clinton's private server, unencrypted private server. The only way an adversary or another nation would ever influence the U.S. elections or influence the United States, the population of the United States, is by uncovering corruption. If Russia unveils or uncovers the corruption, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Daily Beast, TPM, Slate, all of these public relations firms, if they don't look within the Democratic Party and say, hey, you know what, there's a quid pro quo organization called the Clinton Foundation that just rakes in money and the Clintons grant access and favors. Or, yeah, Hillary Clinton was smart enough to know protocol, not to use a private server, to put top secret information on there. If you can't expose the corruption, or Bernie Sanders was cheated from day one, if you're not going to expose the corruption and WikiLeaks is exposing the corruption, don't blame WikiLeaks and don't blame any other country if you want to use that propaganda for influencing people. All of this ties into, so in addition, I'll get to the WikiLeaks 31 email that shows they basically knew Bernie was not going to win. It was completely rigged. I'm going to get to James Comey's role and the FBI's role in this. So now the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton, and her defenders, the Hillary bots everywhere in media, and a lot of people are saying, well, Giuliani got information leaked from the FBI, and the FBI is being unfair to Hillary, and James Comey is now working as a Russian agent or on the side of Russia, and he broke the Hatch Act. James Comey didn't find intent. He didn't find intent in July, even though there's overwhelming evidence. And when people in the FBI, a lot of them, because the FBI is full of honorable people, the FBI is full of honorable FBI agents who know very well that Hillary Clinton is guilty of sin and that she is hiding in plain sight. And they know that the repercussions of treating Hillary Clinton differently from anyone else are grandiose. And they've contributed to this bizarre circus of an election. But I'll read you just a couple examples. This is the teenager that Anthony Weiner sent messages to one of his victims. Okay, so this is BBC News. Alleged Weiner victim hits out at FBI over Clinton emails. Listen to what this 15-year-old girl had to say about Director Comey. A 15-year-old girl who was allegedly sent indecent messages by former U.S. Congressman Anthony Weiner has criticized the director of the FBI. The teenager said James Comey's decision to publicize part of the FBI's investigation into Mr. Weiner had led to her being hounded by news reporters. Mr. Comey announced last week that the investigation had turned up fresh emails relating to Hillary Clinton. In an open letter, the teenager said reporters had canvassed her area. Every media outlet from local to national has contacted me and my family to get my story, she wrote. And then basically she explained why on earth did Comey do this, or why did the FBI get to a point where just 11 days before the election it had to backtrack. It's obvious, because in July it failed to do what it needed to do, and that's Comey's decision. He could have, even if he's beholden to Clinton, he should have known the impact, the long-term impact of the FBI, and especially the impact towards people like this young lady. She said the lack of detail in his announcement led reporters to chase her for clues about what might have been found. In the letter addressed directly to Mr. Comey and published by BuzzFeed, the alleged victim wrote, quote, "I am a 15-year-old who was the victim of Anthony Weiner. I now add you," she is speaking to Director Comey of the FBI, and I think the entire country would agree with this young lady, because everyone feels victimized by what's going on with the FBI. Now the Democrats are, now Hillary bots are, now Hillary Clinton, Brian Fallon, all these, Howard Dean, they're all victimized now by the FBI's James Comey, even though they loved him before. Quote, "I now add you to the list of people who have victimized me. I told my story originally to protect other young girls that might be a victim of online predators." She went on to say, "This is something this young lady said that I agree 150,000% with. I thought your job as FBI director was to protect me. I thought if I cooperated with your investigation, my identity as a minor would be kept secret. That is no longer the case. My family and I are barraged by reporters, phone calls, and emails." Quote, "I have even been blamed in a newspaper for causing Donald Trump to now be leading in some polls and costing Hillary the election. Anthony Weiner is the abuser. Your letter helped that abuse to continue. How can I rebuild my life when you have made finding out my story, quote, story, the goal of every reporter?" Signed, Girl That Lost Her Faith in America. To the young lady who wrote this, every citizen in this country who has a brain cell functioning more than, oh, it's the Russians, and Hillary is very qualified, even though she always gets into scandal. Most people in the United States of America agree with this young lady. Quote, she signed it, quote, "Girl that has lost her faith in America." We have all lost our faith in America to an extent, because James Comey could not find intent for somebody who is said to be the most qualified from day one. During my RT appearance, I said, how on earth could anyone be so stupid like Hillary Clinton to put top secret information on an unencrypted private server and then simply say, I didn't intend to do it? So James Comey is at the heart of all of this, because when you're the FBI director, you need to think long term. I'm going to tell you your job, Mr. Comey, because obviously you've helped create this entire fiasco where now the Democrats are against you, and the Republicans once thought you were part of a cover-up, which you almost certainly were, with your deputy FBI agent now getting over $500,000 to his wife's political campaign. You believing everything Clinton says. Yeah, I shipped a laptop in the mail. All this craziness I couldn't remember because of my concussion. Oh, okay. I'm going to list you, and this ties directly to the letter and WikiLeaks 1 through 31. FBI Comey's 7 most damning lines on Clinton, CNN Politics. These are for the people who are so proud that she's hiding in plain sight. So Hillary Clinton is hiding behind the legal notion that she just can't prove, I knew what I was doing. But you can prove that, because President Obama says she's the most qualified person we've ever had. That's game over. You go to the prosecution, you recommend indictments, and you say, didn't the president say you were the most qualified person ever? Isn't your campaign based on how qualified you are? So WikiLeaks 1 through 31. The new emailed FBI criminal investigation to Hillary Clinton. I'll read you James Comey's words. This is when he tried to appease Clinton by saying, this is Comey and the FBI going to bat for Hillary Clinton, doing everything possible to ensure that we get to a point where a 15-year-old girl has to write a letter saying, hey, I've lost faith in America, and thanks a lot, Comey, you're making my life miserable. Well, James Comey has made the entire country's life miserable with his indecision and his inability to just do the right thing. You still have time, Comey. You still have time. School children will remember you as one of the people who made this a complete farce of a democracy. And we live in a democracy, okay? Yes, we have a constitution. We live in a democracy. Extremely careless. Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton and her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. So Hillary was extremely careless, any way you look at it. Even James Comey, at his closest to the Democratic Party, at his closest with Hillary Clinton, says that she's extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. Quote number 2, should have known. There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position, or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters, should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation. So even if people are going to say, well, HA, he's part of the cover-up from day one. Well, if he's part of the cover-up from day one, at least he should have known the long-term impact. Now we have 15-year-old girls expressing the sentiments of millions and millions and millions of Americans. The FBI, not the honorable people in the FBI, but the FBI as an institution has let down this country. And now we have a constitutional crisis because a director of the FBI didn't have the guts, the courage, the fortitude to do the right thing and indict when he had the chance. You recommend the indictments. If the DOJ said, nah, and we had Bernie Sanders there, especially concerning, still obligated to protect it, generally lacking, hostile actors. I'll read 6 and 7. This is why the Espionage Act and a whole bunch of other statutes relate. Hostile actors. We do assess that hostile actors gain access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account. We also assess that Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email domain was both known by a large number of people and readily apparent. President Obama knew this, not only this statement, we know from Cheryl Mills that the March 7th email where President Obama has emails, they don't say state.gov from Hillary, what do we do now? But if everybody else, so many people knew that so many people around the world knew, and 5 other countries hacked in from one recent report. So the damage to national security is already there. There's a section on the FBI website that talks about cybersecurity. The FBI should just remove it from its website. It's an absolute farce. Why even talk about cybersecurity when you let Madam Cyberhack into the White House? Sophisticated adversaries. Quote, she also used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries. Given that combination of factors, we assess it as possible that hostile actors gain access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account. Now we have the issue. And the issue is this whole fiasco of The Guardian. The FBI is Trumpland. Anti-Clinton atmosphere spurred leaking, sources say. Now, when the FBI is trying to kind of do the right thing, because obviously the nature of technology can lead you a million different areas. If you have an unsecure, unencrypted private server for 3 months with top secret information and thousands of classified documents, who knows what's going to happen with that information? Who knows? So when we find out from WikiLeaks that Hillary Clinton is taking money from Saudi Arabia and the Saudis are funding IS, or Bill Clinton is taking $1 million from Qatar and then Qatar and the Saudis are funding IS, and then we find out that she has an unsecured unencrypted private server, and then a foundation that takes in millions and hundreds of millions from throughout the world, especially from the Middle East. In addition to the fact she's a walking cybersecurity risk. The Clinton Foundation, the IRS, and the FBI and a U.S. attorney in New York are all being investigated. And James Comey couldn't have saved this country. That's why I wrote my articles in Salon and the Huffington Post and The Hill, especially pertaining to the FBI, because I knew this would take place. Now we have a situation where deep antipathy to Hillary Clinton exists within the FBI. Multiple bureau sources have told The Guardian, spurred by a rapid series of leaks damaging to her campaign. They're damaging to her campaign because, number one, there's immense corruption, and this whole cluster of an investigation and email issue has gone into Anthony Weiner's laptop with 650,000 emails. And now they're after Giuliani because, oh, he got information leaked. And now it's, oh my God, the FBI hates Clinton. Anything they say is meaningless now because it's a partisan organization. Before the FBI, the Democratic establishment loved the FBI. Now it's a partisan organization. I'm going to leave you with a couple of things and get directly to an amazing email on WikiLeaks 31. Video shows shows tarmac, no welcome, no snipers. I remember landing under sniper fire. This is a person is a pathological liar. Hillary Clinton is a pathological liar. So James Comey believed the story of a pathological liar. If you are in an FBI interview, and this like happened to a couple high-profile people recently, in the past couple of years, you lie about like one little thing they find that you just didn't tell them the truth during an FBI interview or an interrogation or an investigation, you're going to jail. So people have gone to jail just for a tiny nuance that didn't work out to be true or factual. I remember landing under Bosnian sniper fire, pants on fire. During an introduction to a foreign policy speech on Iraq on March 17, 2008, Senator Hillary Clinton reminisced about her days as First Lady and a trip to Tuzla, Bosnia she made in March of 1996. Quote, I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicle to get to our base. She did not run with her head down. There were children waiting for her with flowers. This is what I am saying. She's a pathological liar. I'll get to the WikiLeaks email, one WikiLeaks email that proves a rigged Democratic primary. One campaign official or person close to the campaign to John Podesta. This was bound to happen. This is when Sanders and Hillary are he's doing very well in the polls. This was bound to happen. This was before Iowa, New Hampshire. We are lucky Sanders will not last. Assuming she loses both, she bounces back with Fighter Hillary. How many times have we seen this movie? How in the do they know that Sanders won't last? And even if Hillary loses both, there was talk that if Hillary lost Iowa and New Hampshire, that it was an insurmountable lead. That would be she couldn't win in terms of the momentum that Bernie would have had. Out of the gate, complete underdog, wins both Iowa and New Hampshire. And they're talking about in a January 22nd email. I'll leave you the email below. This was bound to happen. We are lucky Sanders will not last. And then the Law News article where Bernie voters are suing DNC, talking about, let's go ahead and the DNC attorneys also get a bit creative in their effort to get the lawsuit thrown out. They claim that of all the named plaintiffs, Bernie Sanders supporters already knew that the DNC was biased when they donated. So therefore, how could they have been duped if they knew? We are not joking. That was one of their actual claims in the motion to dismiss. So we have a situation where the FBI is now, 15-year-old girls are saying, hey, you have victimized the entire country. And I agree 100%. The FBI has victimized the entire country with its indecision. And there are good FBI agents. You still have time to do the right thing and save this nation. If you don't want to save the country, then you'll spend your whole lives for the next 4 years or next month or whatever in the eye of the storm, getting pooped on by Brian Fallon. That's what the FBI is just got. They're getting pooped on by Brian Fallon and Hillary Clinton and Podesta, and you've appeased nobody, and now everyone is pissed off. The FBI can go ahead and save this nation. There's still time. There's a second FBI criminal investigation. And we know now from one of the WikiLeaks 31 emails that Bernie Sanders was cheated from day one. Give me your thoughts below. Hillary Clinton is obviously known to be a pathological liar. Why on earth did the FBI initially believe her outlandish excuse of convenience? WikiLeaks 31 is out. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow, man, that was informative, wasn't it? So I tell you what, I'm going to bring the Hangout in. If there's anybody who wants to join the Hangout, now is the time. If you don't join, then we just go on to the next video. Let's see who's around. I see people have been popping their heads in to the external chat, but haven't had the Sunday fortitude to actually join us. Okay, I just need a few minutes to thread the projector for the next presentation. So please give me a moment while I do that. What do I want to do in the meantime? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you something. I can't find it though. I want to show you that. And because there's no one in the Hangout except me, I'm just going to get rid of it. See, there it is, there it is not. So if you come in, you can actually see. I keep it very sort of very transparent, so you can't really see. So it's not annoying. That's less annoying when it's not even there at all. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna look at the YouTube comment section. There's nothing there. Nobody. I've only got 2 people watching right now live. It seems. My stream. Audio stream. Why does it say it's not right? How can that be right? Is lower than the recommended audio stream of 128. Have I been what? Audio stream of 128. But I am doing that. Alright, whatever. Anybody want to say something? Oh yeah, I said no. Alright, Hangouts, no one. Outside chat, no one. Right, so the next the next video that I've got lined up is by the WTF files. Hold on. I don't know if I want to. Hold on a second. Hold on a moment. I'm just not sure I want to present these people because I don't think I like their point of view at first glance. We specialize in bringing you all the videos that make you say what the fuck. Prophecies of end days, science documentaries, alien disclosure, UFO sighting. No, I don't think I'm gonna. This one is nah, not gonna bring it. Don't like it already. Don't like the attitude. Mosul. Anybody following Mosul? Mosul? Looks like Mosul is about to be crushed or blown up or something. Something's going to happen there pretty quick, pretty soon. A lot of people are going to die. I read today, listen to this. I read today that there was a family. Let me just see if this works. Yeah, there was a family with the white flags, you know. Hey, we want to come and get the hell out of here, and they were sort of running towards the escape route or whatever. And I just saw a headline, and ISIS just got them all down. What do you think of that? Any reaction? Response? Or is that expected? ISIS, yeah, did the job, did what they were expected to do. And now I don't have a video for you, so I've got to go look. In the meantime, join the Hangout. Tell you what I'm going to do on this Hangout thing. What am I going to do? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring it back into focus while I search. Let's see if it works. Yes, that's it. All right. That should be right there. Oops. Right there. There you go. Okay, guys, come on in. Let's have a yak. Yesterday's Hangout was, remember, it was titled Evolution is a Fact. Moving on. So if you come in here, you have to understand that evolution is a fact. It's not even debatable. There's no debate, okay? Whether who's here, Vecco or Christian Hillbilly, I'm picking you specifically out because, and Hunter Bailey, yep, all three of you are guilty of gross ignorance. All three of you. How do you plead? All right, while you're figuring out whether you actually want to plead or not, I am going to look for something interesting to watch. If I don't find anything, guess what? I'll just end the Hangout, and I'll end the broadcast. I'll keep the Hangout open. We'll convene a committee meeting on the next topic. Once we decide that we want to go live, we go live, okay? Because we are dynamic. Oh, actually, can I just take this moment right now to tell you what you should be doing? What I suggest you should be doing. Number one, like the video. Number two, subscribe to the channel. Number three, share the video. And number four, please donate to my PayPal. Now, this is how I figure the donations should be. Why you donate is your business. But if you enjoy what I'm doing, you can donate like $25, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to do. I'm into that. If you really don't like what I do, I suggest you put maybe $50,000 in, $100,000 in. The PayPal link is at the bottom. Cool. So let me go back to the Hangout. Somebody came in and left, I see. But anyway, I'm going to go look for something to keep commenting on. Or the Hangout will die. Die, I say. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo. So I don't even have a YouTube channel. Looks like Chelsea, by the way, won, beat Everton 5-0 at the end of the day. Actually, I'm going to go and have a look at the Premiership table with you in a minute. But really, I first want to find something to watch, just in case there's something to watch. Something new has come up since I set those initial videos aside for us to watch. Let's have a look. Ooh, Lionel is ready. Oh, baby. An hour ago, Lionel put out something. So we're going to have to go to Lionel like immediately. We have no choice. I'm sorry, dear Hillary supporters, but you guys are about to get an earful. Let me tell you something. An earful from Lionel Nation. In fact, I'm going to give him special status today because he's really a know-it-all. You know what I mean? The know-it-all. So just bear with me while I give Lionel his due. And then Uncle Lionel will be talking to you, the American people. Now, take heed of what Uncle Lionel says. Uncle Lionel is very clever. A very clever man is Uncle Lionel. Bum, 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 bum. That one there. Okay, Uncle Lionel, I'm going to set you up probably the whole screen. You probably need the whole damn screen, don't you, mister? And I don't know, how about that? Okay, I will, what should I do? Let me just take myself up here for now. And see what Lionel, hey Lionel, hey bud. Okay, it looks like I got to tell you, I don't really want to disappear, but what I'll do is I'll go dark. Okay. Oh, you can't even see me. Hold on a minute. Technical hitch. Let me do that instead. There you go. Ah, yeah, you can see something. Good. All right. Hey, Lionel. What we want to do is hear what you have to say.
Simply the best election ever. The best election I have ever had the glory and opportunity and privilege and excitement of being a part of. I have been, in the past week in particular, I've done more interviews with foreign media folks and platforms than I ever have, ever. Russian, Serbian, New Zealand, Russian television in particular, from all different sources, loves this. I mean, can't get enough. And here's the best part. They ask the most cogent questions, better than anything that I've heard here. It takes foreign news organizations to understand the insanity of what we're doing. That's the beauty of this. It takes people from other places, other sources, other realms to understand the inanity, the vapidity, the insanity of what we are doing in this incredible election. It comes down to simply this. It's all about Trump. It's all about Trump. Hillary has nothing to do with it. She has no plans. She has no platforms. Oh, she's got a website. You can point to something. You can say, there's my plan. Yeah, okay, fine. Great. You know, it's like the goals of the Sertoma Club. What the hell is that? I don't know. Read the brochure. We just have lunch once a month. But if you want to read what we're doing, read the whatever. Hillary. She's, you know, she's for whatever. But she's not Trump. See, that's the whole thing. Hillary, I'm not Trump. I'm not Trump. Trump's a crazy guy. Trump's the asshole. Trump's the idiot. Trump's a this. Trump's a that. Trump. Trump has taken this and he owns it. And oh, the highfalutin American voters, especially, I don't know if you do Facebook. I love Facebook. I laugh. My wife and I laugh at the stuff my friends, some actual friends and other, you know, Facebook friends, they write this high and mighty, well, you know, this may not be a perfect democracy. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And if you don't know what that means, don't start talking about this. Whoever gave you the right, well, you have the right, of course, but whoever told you, you know what's going on in terms of the election. We're not a democracy. It's not tyranny by the majority. We don't do that stuff. We never have been. Why do you say things like that? Why do you always speak in bumper sticker talk? Do you know what's going on? Do these people know? I don't get it. It comes down to simply this. Trump is an asshole. Trump, they hate Trump. Trump may have a lawsuit involving rape, involving a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old. Okay, let's look at that. Fine. Listen, if anybody's, I'm sorry, but if you're a rapist, that should disqualify yourself. You hear that, Bill Clinton? You hear that? You hear that? And why doesn't it resonate with people? Why do women? I'm just going to vote for Hillary because I'm a woman too. She's got a vagina. She's got or as we say in Florida, a vagina. Hillary's got a vagina. I got a vagina. That's good enough for me. First woman around. She's a woman. That's right, Minnie Burrow. She's one of yours, so vote her. Unless, of course, you're Carly Fiorina, Michelle Bachmann, Sarah Palin. By the way, none of those people. With the exception of Carly Fiorina. And by the way, whatever happened to Sarah Palin? That cretinous wonder. What was that all about? But I mean, it's amazing. It's just, Hillary's ill. These idiots don't even realize that she has seizures before their very eyes. I mean, do you know what a seizure is? Do you know what it looks like? Do you know what happens when somebody's going through some type of a
tomato juice
of a neurological incident? Doing the Angelo Bruno in front. Do you understand this? It doesn't even matter to them. They don't even notice it. They don't even say, well, she's excited. Well, she likes balloons. Don't you freeze up like that when you see balloons and lights flashing? Don't you have a large Secret Service agent run up to you with a benzo pen to jab you when you freeze up and seize up? Don't you normally have people come up to you on stage when you're giving a speech and say, it's okay, you can get through this? Don't you normally collapse in front of others on, I guess not TV, but I guess in real time, when people with citizen journalists, record the whole event as you collapse and lose a shoe, and then later on say, well, it was a little bit hot. She was a little hot. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. These Hillary Clinton people, they don't even, they claim to love her. They don't even care the fact that she's gravely ill. I love this. I love this. And they talk about, I actually heard somebody the other day say, this was true. And I can't out people. I can't. Suffice it to say, this is a big timer, okay? This is somebody who's not anybody's alleged fool. And we're talking about all the stuff going on with Hillary and the Clinton Global Initiative and Clinton Foundation is so mind-bogglingly corrupt. It's not even funny. Anyway, so I mentioned this, and my friend or someone, writes, well, what do you expect? Do you want somebody who at 3 o'clock in the morning is tweeting terrible thing, opprobrious, rude statements at 3 in the morning? Do you want somebody who tweets at 3 in the morning? I said, let me get this straight. We're looking at one of the most far-reaching, the most profound criminal organizations and cartels since I don't even know what, on so many levels that I can't even keep track of. I can't even keep track of. Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, on its own, is one of the biggest criminal enterprises on so many levels. You're comparing that. Let me get this straight. Let me turn this damn thing off. Let me get this straight. You're comparing that with Donald Trump tweeting during a campaign. Tell me you're kidding. No? Because that's all they've got. Americans don't know anything about issues. They just point to, and he's fat. His wife sounds like Zsa Zsa Gabor, and she stole a speech from Michelle Obama. I'm thinking, that's it? No, it's going to have to be, because I don't really have anything else. I don't know anything. I'm an American. Let me tell you something. This is the greatest invention of my lifetime. Not the computer. This. Because this is portable. This is what most people have. I mean, yeah, they got computers. I guess it's the same thing, but the phone. Can you imagine what would have happened had these phones, even as early as 2001 during 9/11? Can you imagine all of the citizen journalists out there taking all of the shots of all of the 3 buildings, especially Building 7? If we had hundreds and maybe thousands of people who were there taking pictures. Can you imagine what it would have been on November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas, if everybody had their phone and they could have their own Zapruder memorialization and recordation of that horrible day? Oh my God, wouldn't that be? Can you just bear with me, fantasize with me just for a moment? Oh my God, what angle do you want? You want the grassy knoll? Got 1,000 of these. Imagine some Reddit page, just thousands of crowdsourcing. What do you want? You want the grassy knoll? You want Dealey Plaza? You want near the overpass? I got those too. You want, because everybody's got a camera and everybody would be taking these pictures. You want to see the actual assassin? There he is behind the picket fence. That's him. Badge man. There really was a badge man. It's Lucien Sarti. That's him. That's him. Look, there's the flash. There's the deaf guy. Hey, there it is. Boom, there it is. What is that? That's a frangible bullet. Just like we thought. Oh, look, there he is. Here's another guy. He's breaking down his rifle. He's getting into a... Hey, the 3 tramps. Look, they're going to a safe house. Well, let's follow them. I mean, it's changed everything. Everything, even Hillary, when she's collapsing, I mean collapsing, in extremis, with a nurse doing a neurological testing. Go ahead, Hillary, grab my thumbs, squeeze my thumbs, get her in the car, the ambulance, let's take her to the Midtown Chelsea Hotel, or the hospital, namely Chelsea's apartment. Why? Because we can't go to a hospital, can't check her in. We've got the machinery over there. Let's take her over there. Make sure she's all right. And then the reason I bring this up is because this woman wants to be the president, and she's ill. I don't want Tim Kaine. No. It's one thing when you go to a if you say, well, you know, I'm not in the best of health. Well, my cholesterol is high. Well, I've had cancer. Well, let's face it, you're going to get people who tend to be at or near or around kind of like the back 9 of life, so you're going to get people maybe sometimes 70, maybe close to 70. You're going to get a cancer there. You're going to get something. That's fine, But somebody who's great, is ill now, somebody who's, I mean, if you have somebody who has, let's say, a glioblastoma, or I'm not saying Hillary does, but if you had somebody who had like a brain tumor now, or somebody who's exhibiting bouts of psychosis or something now, this is critical. But the Hillary Clinton voter didn't care about that. Why? Because they called that hearsay. They said that was just some kind of, hey, that's not fair. That's not fair. Don't bring that up. Superman! Don't bring that up. That's rude. Come on. Oh, I love this. You know, in the history, in the annals, or the annals, depending on where you're from, of presidential history, the three best, believe it or not, well, I shouldn't say that, because we always think vis-a-vis our own current history, but Abraham Lincoln, most probably our second gay president, but Abraham Lincoln was the first person who really used photography as an amazing new form of campaigning. I mean, he was ahead of his game. So what's interesting to note is that he did that, and later on, they found out. In fact, it was during that particular time when he and Douglas were campaigning, if you campaigned, it was considered beneath you that you didn't think you were going to win because you were lowering yourself to campaign. I mean, if you thought you were going to win, why are you campaigning? That's the mindset then. So Lincoln, during his time, was really good. But John Kennedy, during the debate, poor Richard Nixon, 5 o'clock shadow, sweating bullets, had that lip sweat all the time, no makeup. And there's John Kennedy with his back brace and his Addison's disease, pumped up on meth, standing there doing fantastic. Blasted with the steroids, giving him that kind of that Jerry Lewis face. Fantastic. Beautiful. Changed the complexion of it. Then came Reagan. Oh, Reagan was the greatest thing ever. Reagan's a myth. Reagan, oh my God, sliced bread Reagan. Oh, God, I love Reagan. Oh my God, Ronald Reagan. I mean, it's like people go wiener over him. They go nuts. Just mention him as like a fetish, Ronald Reagan. But the next one, Donald J. Trump. What he did with Twitter. Somebody said, I don't know who said it, he can do more than 140 characters, and Hillary can do in you know. I mean, she's horrible. She's horrible. She can't even get near him. There is no Hillary. Nobody cares for. Nobody shows up at her rallies. Come on. Why do you think he's got Obama and Michelle and Biden and everybody else? Because nobody shows up to her rallies. Isn't it funny? Here's a woman who charged $250,000 a speech, and she can't get 50 people when it's free. And people hear about Tim Kaine, they cancel that. Tim Kaine. Oh my God. I mean, but Donald Trump. Donald Trump tweets something, and CNN reports it. Donald Trump tweets something, ABC reports it. MSDNC reports it. Can you believe what Donald Trump said? Meanwhile, there's Hillary. Can I say something? No, nobody cares about you. Donald Trump said, call all Mexicans rapists. Do you think he's a rapist? Tonight, our guests are Julio Sanchez from the Mexican defamation league. And this is, I think a rapist. Wait, stop. He tweeted something again. Stop. New Donald Trump tweet, and he's just blasting these things. Letting them come. I mean, they're like sorties and salvos and fusillades of constant barrage. It's amazing torrents of tweets. It's phenomenal. It's like nothing anybody's ever seen before. It's like nobody's ever seen this. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's amazing. I saw him on today in Tampa, my hometown. He was, now that speech doesn't work for me. I'm a little different. I think you are too. But this guy, extemp, off the cuff, holy Jesus, picking out of a baby out of the audience, and the stuff he said, though I would have rephrased it, makes so many times I find myself saying, that's it. When he talked about climate change and basically selling ransom money to that miserable con called the UN. Oh, this complete, utter horse shit, climate change. Come on. Don't you understand what that's about? I've said it a million times. It's about carbon taxes, carbon exchanges, tracking tax and cap and trade and all that. That's what it's about. Paying money? Paying money for some kind of a carbon footprint bullshit tax to the UN? And God knows where that goes. You people are so goddamn stupid you don't even realize that. Because you're too busy in the feeling worry about the little polar bears. Oh God, look at the polar bear. Oh shit. Oh shit. And the little polar bear. Oh God. He's on an ice cube. Used to be an iceberg. Oh God. I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'll do anything. I'll do anything to assuage the fears that I have, to expiate my involvement. What was that? Yes, I'll do anything. Pay what? A carbon tax. For what? Sure, yeah, hey, whatever. How much is it? Yeah, sure, put me down for it. And that's how it starts. And that's what it's about. And grow the little kids new. Start them fresh. Start them from the beginning. Oh, yeah. Just brainwash them. Let them have it. From an early age, let people know. That's right, Johnny. Let's learn about oh my God, the poor polar bears. Leonardo DiCaprio, I tried to watch something he did about carbon. What a con that is. And meanwhile, we look up in the air, and I'm seeing hashtag lattice work of aerosolized nanoparticulates. You call them chemtrails, climate engineering, geoengineering, as obvious, changing, occluding, obfuscating, obscuring the blue skies, and these hypocritical bastards who think all of it. Oh, I'm in charge. I'm so sentient when it comes to the population, to the planet. I feel. Oh my God, me with a planet. And there it is. Nobody said anything. It's right in front of your eyes, and nobody said, not Trump, not Hillary, not anybody. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? It amazes me. Here's one for you. The other day we were talking about 9/11, and I love this. People they just cannot believe that buildings don't go pow like that, and pow, based on fire. It doesn't happen. I mean, beams shooting out 100, pow, pow, pow. I mean, just, so this guy writes me, he says, well, concrete, at certain temperatures, what? Pyroclastic explosions? Are you fucking kidding me? Is there anything? I mean, do we not understand anything? No. No. And then we have these people who talk about the elections, and this just drives me absolutely nuts. The Tim Russert wannabes with the dry erase board. Well, if he gets Colorado, and then let's say he doesn't get Colorado, let's say New Hampshire. Look, you need 11 states to win. My thing is, how are they going to steal? And Hillary could win. I mean, listen, she's not necessarily going to win, but they're going to make sure she wins. For example, if I blow up a plane, as it's going, you could say, well, how do I know I would have landed anyway? Well, I don't. But I guarantee you, it's not going to land. You're going to blow it up, aren't you? Well, yeah, but could have crashed anyway. What? That's this logic. So I understand. Hillary Clinton could win, but she's going to win. She could win, but she's going to win. No matter what. I mean, if everybody, I mean, you know it, I know it, everybody knows it, she's going to win. And if there is voter irregularity, and if there are problems with the vote, in a variety of ways, do I have to tell you? I mean, if you don't want to read, do you know how many documentaries from Bev Harris to my friend Greg Palast to Crosscheck to Hacking Democracy? I mean, do you really, do you not know voter electorate fraud? I mean, do you really not know how this is done? Do you really mean to tell me, honestly, seriously, that you don't know how this is done, either by Diebold and Diebold-esque type of programs that count the votes incorrectly, or voter suppression in areas that would not likely be amenable to Hillary Clinton? You know, I mean, tell me, I don't have to tell you that one. You know, what's funny, another thing was, I was talking to a,
DC.
I forget where, but a lot of these Russian and foreign, but the Russians, they're fascinated by this. For a group of people who apparently want to affect our election, they're fascinated by it. And there's so many different, and the questions are so perfect. And the question I had recently was, is this not the dirtiest election anybody's ever seen? The answer is no. Abraham Lincoln, the Grover Cleveland election, Andrew Jackson, they say he wasn't married to his wife. I mean, by those standards, are you kidding me? No. See, everybody thinks that these are the worst times. Oh, these are the worst times. Really? You think these are bad times, huh? The Depression, the Civil War, World War II. Are you kidding me? The Civil War? You think this is bad because of Donald Trump? My God, you need some remedial history here. This is the dirtiest election. No, it's not the dirtiest election. But I will tell you this much, and as I've explained to people, you make it dirty because you're able now, by virtue of adding into it, you see, you do know this. I'm sorry if you didn't know this, but you do know this. In the old days, when you watched, Cronkite or Huntley and Brinkley, whatever the big three were, that was it. You want to comment? Write a letter to the editor. Good luck. Put a yard sign up in your yard. Put a bumper sticker on your car. That's it. Oh, and vote. Donate. That's it. Oh, you can bitch and moan to your friends, and you can be equally obnoxious as we are now to each other, but that was it. Now, you have your own website, you can vlog, you can blog, you can tweet, you can Facebook, you can do more stuff. Oh, viral videos. You could theoretically have, and we do have your own mini newspapers. Facebook is really kind of like a mini newspaper, so to speak. By the way, I just got somebody who says, "Where the F are you, Lionel?" This is when I don't do an email or a video vlog. People, where are you? Well, here I am. So I'm busy. I'm doing it. But today, I mean, it's just amazing how we can just weigh into this. All of us. It's like nobody's ever seen this before. I love this. This is the greatest thing ever. And in the meantime, nobody's talking about anything. Now, what somebody asked me, I think this was the Serbian radio folks, asked me, why are the mainstream media so apparently pro-Hillary? They know this. Let me ask you something. Are you aware of any pro-Serbian or pro-whatever the particular factions are in Serbia or any other country? No. The world watches us. We don't watch them. So I said, you got to understand something. This goes back to way back. But the first premise, and I try to explain it, is that it's not that the media are liberal, because Hillary Clinton is not liberal. There are no liberals anymore. There are people who talk about it. You got the Amy Goodmans here. You got my friend Chris Hedges. You've got, a variety of voices. My pal Caleb Maupin, who does wonderful dissertations on Marxism and communism and Leninism and the various aspects of it. You got so many voices. You got Bill Maher and his writers. Look, Bill Maher, Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, writers. Bill Maher. Now, Stephen Colbert. Right. Great presenters, great actors, but the people that have some say are the writers. It's not like George Carlin. George Carlin was George Carlin. Dick Gregory and Lenny Bruce, they were who they were. Not anymore. Come on. Are you kidding me? This. What are you talking about? They're just mouthing it. But those are alternative voices, kind of. Do you really think anybody cares about women's rights and feminism? Seriously? I mean, I know you talk a big deal about abortion all the time. Well, we got to get Hillary in because Jesus Christ, Roe against Wade. Let me tell you something. The globalists, the people who run the world today, the ruling class, all right, those guys, I promise you, they're not going to let anything, these guys are eugenicists. They're not going to let anything get in the way of getting rid of the poor and the unwanted and believe me when I tell you that. Believe me. This whole idea of somehow abortion becoming illegal again, are you nuts? The last thing in the world. If these people had their way, abortion would be mandatory in some cases. You watch what's going to happen. You watch massive sterilization around the world. Massive depopulation. What does that mean? That's what that means. You think the ruling class, you think the people who run the world want to have a bunch of poor people running around spreading disease and eating up food and taxing resources? Give me a break. I promise you, nobody wants to get rid of Roe. You know how many people were killed? Who would be paying for these kids? Let me tell you something. The biggest myth in the world is somehow that the right wing, the evangelical right, that they're going to somehow control or overrule these bunch of hedonistic, satanic bastards. Are you kidding me? You really think that the, I don't know what the hell is that. I can't even think of any good evangelicals today. I used to know them like Jerry Falwell, but they're all dead. But come on. That ain't going to happen. You watch what happens more and more with vaccines, with interesting things go on. I mean, we've done it before. I mean, look. Do you not know? Remember the Tuskegee study? Poor black men, syphilis. It goes back. We've been doing this stuff since we put infected smallpox blankets and threw them over with a catapult so that the Indians would be. Come on. This is not. I know people reject it because it sounds so horrible, but nobody understands the history of the world and how horrible this thing is. Look, these people, globalist types, they want free trade, okay? They want the disintegration of anything that involves roughly the mere appearance of sovereignty, of jurisdiction, of separate currency. That's what Hillary said. I mean, Hillary is it. She's been to Bilderberg how many times now? They love her. Oh my God. TPP, she's in, baby. She is in. Goldman Sachs. Remember those speeches? Remember that? You know who was a big Bilderberg fan that they loved, believe it or not? Rick Perry. Rick Perry went along and said, hey, I'm in with you. Why? I know how you guys love vaccines. You know they love that. Bill and Melinda Gates love vaccines. Oh my God, gotta get rid of malaria. Really? Malaria, huh? Let me get this straight. You're worried about malaria. Okay. Nothing else? Oh, of course not. You're gonna release genetically modified mosquitoes and we have nothing to worry about, right? No, of course, really. What could go wrong, right? Yeah. If you believe this, I mean, honestly, all right. So anyway, I don't know about you, but if I ran the world, last thing in the world I want is a bunch of people I don't know, I don't care about, basically just ruining my I just want enough people on the planet to just, mow my lawn, do my thing, kind of be there, and just make my stuff. But other than that, I don't want anybody here. And I know how I can get rid of them. And nobody will ask any questions. Well, of course, in this country, too, because what's interesting? If you dare question the efficacy of vaccines, they will confuse your questioning the safety and the efficacy of a particular strain of vaccine with you questioning the efficacy or the protocol models of immunology in particular. I mean, that's what they'll do. That's the thing. So, I don't want to get too off the beaten path. There's going to be more of these video disquisitions, but I mean, all I'm telling you is that this is the most beautiful thing in the world. This is so good, and I'm in duck soup, because when Hillary Clinton is selected again, I got 4 years of a woman, an administration under FBI questioning from day one. They haven't even done anything yet, and already we're going to elect a corrupt, not an administration that becomes corrupt, but was corrupt from the beginning. This is beautiful. I mean beautiful. Now, let me stop right there at 32 minutes. Make that almost 33. Two things. You know what it is. Like the video and subscribe. And tell others about this thing of ours. Isn't this great? Seriously. Let me ask you a question. Now look at me and be honest. Have you ever seen anything like me on TV before? Be honest. Look how you and I talk to each other right now. Look how we speak. Isn't this great? How many times do you hear people on television or platforms like this, video and otherwise, broadcasting? You know what I mean? They broadcast like you're in a big room, like you're in an auditorium. I'm speaking to you. That's right, you and me, nobody else. I'm talking to you. It's like you and I are just sitting across from each other, having a cup of joe, yucking it up. Okay? That's what's so great about this. Oh, it's an art form. And it only gets better if you spread the word, okay? Good. And now you may comment. And by the way, comment on these comment sections below. You know where they are. Comment away. And, oh yes, comment as you see fit.
Wow. What do you guys think of that? Woo. That is something. Oh, gimmick. Sorry, man. So who's got a microphone? Anyone? You know that gimmick, that post from Emily is from, I think, yesterday. But she might still be watching. I guess that's, well, yeah, it's possible. There's some people watching. So you guys got anything to say about anything? Can you actually hear me? Can anyone actually hear me? That's a good question. Gimmick, Tom, can you hear me? Oh, something's happening.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. I hear you.
I was just talking and I've got it set on stereo mix instead of microphone, like an idiot. Yeah, I was just listening to Flat Out Elected. They've got a live broadcast with Rose Patton in that, and they're talking conspiracies.
Yeah, so okay. Well, I like to talk realities in here, personally.
You what, sorry?
I prefer to talk realities in this room.
Well,
you know,
it's
not
all
conspiracies.
Perception.
No, okay. Well, I'd like to talk about the perception, or the perception from the point of view of reality. If you can call it a reality perception, if there's such a thing, I don't know.
Is that inferring that all conspiracies are not real, though?
No, I'm just inferring that all the ones they talk about are not real.
I'd agree with flat Earth.
Is that doable?
Well, I mean, each to their own, but I mean, there's some conspiracies I'd class as very real.
Okay, name one. You've got some, name one.
Banking fraud, LIBOR, rigging the press rates.
I said name one. You want to go with banking fraud? Tell me about it.
No, that's all one. LIBOR. Have you ever heard of the LIBOR interest rates?
No.
Well, LIBOR is set by the banks. All the banks get together and they say, right, this is going to be the base interest rate. If you Google it, it will tell you more than I can.
I'll hear from you. That's fine. You know.
Well, yeah. I'll give you a brief summary.
Beautiful.
Well, banks were caught. It's all confirmed. I don't think anyone went to jail, but a few bosses lost their jobs, and then mysteriously bankers started falling out of skyscrapers, and the real men behind it are untouchable, because all those that could have given testimony about them have mysteriously fell out of high-rise buildings. Now that's just one example of a conspiracy that's very real.
Where were these high-rise buildings, though?
Oh, I haven't got the info.
Like what country? What country?
I think it's happened in quite a few countries. There's a lot in America, in New York. I think there was 3 or 4 there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the other country. I think
like when? How recently?
Within the last couple of years.
Well, you know, that's funny. Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that, because in the last couple of years, well, last few years, for sure, there's been a pattern of mysterious deaths following the Clintons.
Yeah, that's another conspiracy.
In their quest for power.
Have you heard the latest about the email releases that implicate them in human trafficking, which then implicates them into the paedophile rings that are trafficking kids from care homes and stuff? It's very, very deep rabbit hole.
I've been playing. I must have played at least 5 alternative media views of the Clintons and the campaign, and not one of them mentioned, at least not that I can recall, not one of them mentioned anything to do with pedophile rings. I mean, where did you get that information?
No, the human trafficking.
I mean, okay, whatever, but where did you get that information?
I've got to be honest, I haven't looked into it in great depth, but I saw a post on it on Google earlier today, which, hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Oh, by the way, Tom, that ghosting image was me intentionally putting it there, like that.
Oh, fair enough. I was just sort of letting you know.
Yeah, I was just messing around. This encoder is very powerful, and I like to mess around with it.
Yeah.
You know, try different things and stuff.
I just weren't sure if it was meant to be hidden beyond the video and it was showing, so I just thought I'd let you know.
Everything you see, you must accept reality for what it is. And yes, it was meant to be.
But you've got to recognise a good deed when one's intended, rather than looking for the negative all the time, you see.
Yes, but the way you presented it was, if you watch the live feed, you can see a ghost image of this room, and your icon is in the screen. That the link is to the live feed. Okay, whatever.
You heard already. Oh, I've been a Cubs fan all my life. I think that's supposed to get more voters.
Yeah, whatever works.
You hear that earlier? That Clinton said she's been a Cubs fan all her life.
Well, she's a liar, and we all know. It doesn't matter what she says. Welcome, Jim.
Howdy, Sydney. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Did you catch any of the preamble on the live
preamble?
on the live feed?
Oh no, I did not. I just now came in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just I just presented alternative media views on the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton campaign and on Hillary herself. None of it very good. All of it damning.
Yeah. It don't take much to look around at her and see that she's not much to want to put into office.
Oh, she would be the.
We don't want her. We don't want a politician as a president anymore. We want a businessman that means business.
Yes. I'm so at this. I'm proud to be an American, but I'm not an American, obviously. But if I was an American, it would be a time for change. And if Hillary wins, like because she'd be the absolute 100% worst choice ever, I believe she's going to win. Because America always does the wrong thing. Always. And history repeats itself. History repeats itself. And history's going to repeat itself. And Hillary's going to win. Simple. Because it's already...
The public might do a JFK on her. Who knows?
They say that about Trump, don't they?
Well, with 3 days to go, you'd already know.
Who knows?
Well, I'm saying that I don't think these emails are making any impact.
You get entry she did with someone and she was
No
furious.
one who loves Hillary is looking at the emails, even watching the news, doesn't care. They're going to sit there and watch CNN and do... Hillary's great. Look what she's doing now. She's campaigning where she... she's fucked up. She's campaigning in states, apparently, that were... She didn't need to go because they were so strongly Democratic.
I can't seem to find the one I'm looking for, but I found this one, an interview between Julian Assange and John Pilger, and I think this raises more of an election.
Who's John Pilger?
He's the guy that did, what was it? He did a really good documentary. What was it?
Bolger.
John Pilger, his name is. I'll put the link in the side for you. This is his website. But about a year or two ago, he did a really good documentary about something, and it was.
I think this is more of a debate discussion type hangout,
Freezing snow expected as temperatures dip.
Where?
In the UK.
Freezing snow. That means lorry drivers are not happy.
Yeah.
Earlier it was cold and. He said, "We got bonfire night." And
it's gone cold.
It's 4 degrees.
I appeal to all you lorry drivers to get your dash cams.
-1.
Get your dash cams on, lorry drivers. We want to catch all the action.
Yeah, the UK grinds to a standstill with a bit of snow.
No. Come on.
Oh, it is.
Up in the Highlands in Scotland, they've experienced snow all their history. All their history, it's been snow in Scotland, right?
-1.
Is there any place to go in Scotland in the summertime that's guaranteed to be an absolute perfect, warm, sunny, clear, calm day?
Weather's too controlled and manipulated these days.
In Scotland, in England, anywhere.
Too many chemtrails, but apparently, I love it in Scotland. I don't know.
How can you say there's chemtrails and they're only in England? What's the point of that?
Simple. If you look in the sky, you see them.
Yeah, but why in England only? Well, what's the point? Where's your logic behind it? It's only in England that we see chemtrails. It's only in England that we see UFO. I mean, like what? What's going on?
I don't think that's what you're saying is a gimmick. No one's claiming that chemtrails is only going on in the UK.
Well, I haven't seen any.
Have you looked?
Of course I've looked. For fuck's sake.
Well, I'll ask one.
There's a lot of clear days, and there's a lot of normally cloudy, normal wispy, or raining like it is today, whatever. But chemtrails never. I really, and I've never seen anybody, drive around with a dash cam saying, "Oh my God, look at the chemtrails!" Oh my God. It's just not something that I think it's a. It's a red herring. It's an absolute, wild goose chase. It's flat Earth debates. It's that type of stuff.
I'd disagree there. I'd say flat Earth.
Why don't I see any?
But flat Earth is used by people like yourself to discredit the real conspiracies. Like you've just done that. You've taken one conspiracy that's plausible, can be proved, can be observed, and you've just dismissed it by saying, "Oh, it's another flat Earth thing."
Yeah, because I don't. You claim to see it, and I claim not to see it, and I live in a reality.
I'm not saying that.
I live in a reality that actually coincides with your reality, and I don't see them.
Well, there are people.
So the question is, no, hold on a minute, Tom, please. My question to you was, why is it only happening in England, and why are only the British observing these chemtrails?
Because in America and Canada, in Canada, Alaska, you got HARP bases. In the UK, there's 3 of them. One in Northern Ireland, which is Carrickfergus. There's another one in Wales that David Cameron opened. And there's the other that's in RAF Monmouth Hill, Harrogate.
I think it's badly formed question.
It's been going on for a long time. You get it on a 2-day scale. Day for you get these mashed potato-like effects in the cloud. Same day or maybe day after, the weather turns. So it's like a cycle.
Cycle? What do you mean cycle?
It's like turning on the tap for running water. Once you see it once, you kind of know it. It's like, how they make bread.
I'm talking chemtrails. I don't see any chemtrails.
Right,
I have never seen chemtrails other than what has been presented to me as evidence of chemtrails in pictures and in this type of talk. But what are they? What's in them, and why are they bad, and how come I don't have them, and all this kind of stuff?
Aluminium, bromide, bromine, and other chemicals, and people have taken pictures of them. There's tested results from soil that's been below these cloud formations that we call chemtrails, and the aluminium is increased, the bromine's increased, and it basically makes the ground infertile for plants. And it's no coincidence that Monsanto, their GMO crops are aluminium, bromide, and bromine resistant, which means I'm not saying whether it's true or not at this stage. I'm just saying that if that is the case, then there's a clear conspiracy for companies like Monsanto to want to eliminate people's ability to grow their own food, so that then we'll all have to buy Monsanto seeds to grow in this soil that they're conditioning. That's the simple theory in a nutshell.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
And there are those that are out there researching it, looking into it, taking soil samples. I mean, I agree that when you see these on YouTube videos, I've not done the experiments myself. I'm only taking it at face value. But you have to beg the question, what have these people got to gain by lying? Why lie about chemtrails? There's nothing to be gained. However, if chemtrails are real, then they've got everything to gain, because they're hoping they can stop the chemtrails being done and stop their soil being made infertile.
Jim, you got anything to say about chemtrails or agriculture in general? I'm not understanding any of this from...
No, not really.
The west coast of Canada is chemtrail free, as far as I can. And I haven't seen a Monsanto sign or anything. I don't know what they're talking about.
Aluminium also causes Alzheimer's and brain problems.
Oh, please, I cook with aluminium. I bake with aluminium. Don't you bake with aluminium? Don't you put an aluminium foil
Yeah,
down?
yeah. But I don't eat the foil.
So who does?
Well, this is the thing with chemtrails. It's particleized aluminium, where it's in the, you breathe
so
it.
You breathe it in. All right. And what happens? Does it cause euphoria?
Well, once the aluminium gets into the brain, it causes Parkinson's, I think, and Alzheimer's.
And hold on a minute. Okay, that's just interesting. So how are the chemtrails released from jets?
It's from the fuel, yeah.
Okay, so they've pumped it in place of like jet fuel or something, right? So it's kind of
it's an additive to the fuel. You know how they used to add lead to petrol in the olden days?
Oh, you actually added to the jet fuel.
Yeah.
So they're actually spraying jet fuel?
No.
Well, I mean, that is one argument that even
hold on. You said they spray it. They've added it to the jet fuel.
If you let me explain it in my way, I can explain.
I will do that. But let me just absorb what you just said. You said I asked you how the chemtrails or how this aluminium stuff that you breathe in, how is it dispersed or dispensed, and you said it was through a plane, right? So I then made a statement saying that they must sacrifice jet fuel for some of this aluminium stuff, and thereby sacrifice length of flight. So therefore it will be a very short flight. They got to take off, they got to do the chemtrail thing, and then they got to land. I never said anything about jet fuel and this stuff mixed together. You brought it up, so I don't understand how. I can understand how jet fuel itself is harmful. Why would you need to add anything to it in order to cause harm to anybody that you pour or you spray the jet fuel over?
Because jet fuel doesn't contain the aluminium and bromide. If they want the atmosphere, and it also increases the ion, I don't know the terminology, but it's basically the ion atmosphere. It increases the ion side of the atmosphere, which then makes HAARP more... what's the word? More.
I think. Hold on. I think you're trolling me. Come on, man.
Right. No, you've got to let me explain. I mean, you can ask a question for 30 minutes and give me 1 minute to answer it if you want.
Okay.
I'm don't be surprised when you don't.
Please carry on.
Right. There's many sides to it. Yes, you're correct. Even without the additives, jet fuel is making an atmospheric difference. It's a little bit like climate change. People that deny climate change are fools, because if you look in the street, we've got all these vehicles burning fuel, pumping out emissions into the atmosphere. That is changing the climate, and by definition, it's climate change. Whether this climate change would happen naturally is the point of contention, right? Now, when we bring this into airplanes, there's a thing called HAARP, which is weather modification system, right? It releases ions into the atmosphere, and it basically forms clouds, attracts water molecules, forms clouds. They can basically control the weather, create a storm, make it rain where they want rain, make it sunny where they want it sunny. So that's one side. That's just one side of what chemtrails would enable them to achieve: higher efficiency weather modification. On the other, another point of chemtrails is it affects the health of people. We're in a privatized health system where sick people make a lot of profit for industry. So you're getting the aluminium side of it also affects the health of people, as does the bromide and the bromine and the other chemicals I can't remember. They all affect human health. And as an added bonus, or some could argue the main reason behind it, is because when these particles eventually fall to the ground, which is why chemtrails aren't seen all over the planet, they're mainly, in America it's over rural farming land, in the UK it's over farmland. Well, our cities, it's not as big as America. Our major cities, you can still see chemtrails around major cities because If you go 5 miles in any direction, you're going to find an urban farm or country, what we call the countryside, which is where all the agriculture takes place. Now, once these aluminium and chemicals hit the soil, it then creates infertile soil, which is countered by Monsanto. It's like they're holding the cure and the illness on the cure. It's, yes, let's pump aluminium out into this jet fuel. I think some of them are argued to have a beneficial effect with the fuel. So the displacement of chems in the natural fuel that they normally use, it wouldn't have the distance restrictions that you're implying. I mean, you did make quite a few erroneous assumptions in your sort of assessment, because no one's saying that, oh, they empty half the tank and just fill it with crap. You know, they're very clever, these scientists. They can work out what percentage. Yeah, they can work out what percentage of these chemicals they can put into the fuel without making any real difference to the economy of the craft. And then once it hits the soil, makes it infertile, we then go running to Monsanto. Oh, look what Monsanto have got. They've got these crops that can grow in aluminium-rich soil. Oh, all of a sudden, we can't grow a potato naturally anymore. We've got to buy the seed from Monsanto. And it all comes together. I mean, it took me 5 minutes to explain that in a nutshell, but there's lots of areas that you can go on for hours about. But I just think it's foolish to dismiss it, and yes, it's foolish to believe it 100%. But that's why there are people out there doing the research. But then a lot of the time, when we refer to that research, we're just dismissed as, oh, where did you find that on YouTube? And it's like, well, where does anyone get their info from? They get it from third parties. I don't trust government scientists any more than I trust YouTube scientists or self-taught scientists. It's about taking the data, does it make sense, is it plausible, is it possible, and then mix it with my own life experience. I just think it's dangerous to dismiss offhand.
Well, I think that you're a nutter. I think that you're a conspiracy theorist. You're fearful of something and you don't know what it is. And I'm sorry, but I can't support the chemtrail anything because I don't know what it is. I don't look up in the sky and see it. So how can it be something that's that's targeted to anybody but you or your?
Right, Google HARP, Alaska.
I don't want to go to Google. I don't even own a Google connecting device.
He says on Google Hangouts.
Good one.
Fail.
Yeah, you just shut blue feet off with that one.
Yeah, well, with the prosthetic
but we're
technology where it is today, I should be fine.
No, I understand your skepticism, Sid. I mean, there are a lot.
I'm not the skeptic.
I'm with you on the flat Earth. I totally
You're
think
the
that.
skeptic, dude, not me.
Well, no, I'm just. I don't believe everything because someone with a badge or a certificate or a qualification tells me it's so.
But why can't you just believe everything that your five senses absorb for you? Why
Well, that is why I'm doing my five senses tells me that there are unnatural cloud formations in the sky that we never used to see in the 70s, 80s and 90s.
Well, why don't I see them? That's what I'm trying to
take my senses that there is a company called Monsanto. I mean, this is fact. This isn't under contention. Monsanto crops are aluminium, bromide and barium resistant. That's a fact. Why would they need to make their crops? Oh, because in some countries they've got aluminium.
Well, if it's a fact, I honestly have no way to dismiss that fact or debunk that fact because I know nothing about what you're talking Monsanto. I don't even know what Monsanto is.
So don't you think that it's a bit foolish to, on one hand, say that you know nothing about what we're talking about, but then in the next breath accuse people that have researched it a little bit as being crazy?
No, all I said was I have not seen chemtrails. You started off with it starts off with chemtrails, and then what's in the chemtrails, and then how it gets dispensed, and what it does, and the bromide, and the aluminium, and the crops, and the like you go into some sort of some kind of a apocalyptic prediction. And I look in the sky and I see rain, and sometimes I see blue, clear sky. sometimes I see, the high clouds blowing by. But fuck, what is a chemtrail? I've never seen one, and I don't understand why I've never seen one, and you have, and I don't understand why you're the only one, or both of you are the only ones on the whole internet from England, where there's 60 million plus people talking about chemtrails.
Chemtrails. There's 3 of us.
I mean, it's not true.
No, there's you, there's Gimmick, and then there's Tom. That's it. Nobody else.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, let's rewind this a little bit. I came in and said you were being very dismissive of conspiracy theories. I came in and said I'd just been watching Rose Patten and what's his name, Flat Out. I said I was watching Flat Out Elected, and sorry I didn't hear you said was no. Some conspiracies are very real, and then you asked me for one that's real. Well, chemtrails are real. Even you've just admitted that even without the added chemicals, then natural petrol, like the plane fuel, jet fuel that they use, is putting chemicals into the atmosphere. Just like cars are affecting the atmosphere.
Oh, no. You have misinterpreted it, my friend.
But now,
you're the one who said...
Hold on, I've not finished. You're then painting the picture as if I've come to the Hangout to promote the chemtrail theory, which is not what I'm doing.
Okay, all right. Can I respond now, please?
You see, you're asking me a question, then letting me answer, and then making out that I'm the one bringing that argument to the table. I'm not. I'm just saying...
No, I'm asking a question, you're responding, and then I'm going to respond to your response.
Okay.
I initially said that these airplanes or these jets must contain a dispensing device for this, I don't know, gas or spray of chemicals, right? You said they take that mix that chemical and they mix it into the jet fuel, and then that means that they are flying, releasing jet fuel into the atmosphere with that additive of that Monsanto chemical included. I said that you wouldn't need the Monsanto chemical included if you're going to be flying, spraying jet fuel anyway, because the jet fuel is harmful. That is where we, I think, lost focus.
The jet fuel hasn't got aluminium in it. It doesn't make the
I think we lost focus at that point because the Monsanto chemical became moot to the argument. It was you related that jet fuel was going to be sprayed on by the jet.
No, that's a false conclusion, because without the additives, yes, it's damaging to the environment. But why would they be? I'm going to tell you. Bear with me, please.
I'm just asking the question that you're responding to is, why would they be spraying jet fuel into the atmosphere?
With the additive, you mean?
No, at all.
Well, because they need the jet fuel to fly the plane. Without the jet fuel, it ain't going to fly.
I understand that, but if they're spraying it into the atmosphere, it's not being used to fly the plane. Get it?
No, the emissions from the... You know, when you burn jet fuel, it gives off gases, chemicals, emissions. We call them emissions, yeah? They emit from... Well, in its normal state, the jet fuel that they use does damage the atmosphere, but not in the way they want the damage. They want, by adding the aluminium and all these different chemicals, they can then use it to create these false cloud formations. I mean, coming back to you said you don't know what a chemtrail is. Well, what a chemtrail is when you see the exhaust fumes coming out of a plane as it flies over your head. When you go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, you'd get a trail in the sky where a plane had been. And then after about anywhere, depending on the weather, the temperature, the atmospheric pressure, that trail would then disperse and disappear.
That's a vapor trail.
Yes. Now, if you let me finish, I'm going to.
You're trying.
This is where the change comes. You see,
Hold on.
not all you like if it stops you hearing.
Sorry, that was very funny. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Well, it might be funny to someone short-sighted that can't see where it's leading to. Right, so in the 70s, 80s and 90s, you used to get a natural vapour trail and exhaust trail. It wasn't all vapour at all. I mean, that's another myth to sort of counter chemtrails, because they're not hydrogen-propelled planes. If they were hydrogen-propelled planes, then yes, you're just getting water vapour out the back. But they're not. They're jet fuel.
It's from the
right. That's not my point,
the vapor trail comes off the tips of the wings and the tips of the rudders. That's where the vapor somehow is whatever
right,
it is.
The vapor side of it comes from as the wing, yes, and the vapor side of it aren't the emissions from the engine.
It's not emissions. It's
as the plane, as the wing cuts through.
No, it's way up in the sky. It's very, very, very high.
Are they? I didn't know that. Thanks for that. As the wing cuts through the air at high pressure, you get a difference between the air pressure above the wing and below the wing. And as it comes off the tail end of the wing, the two pressure differences collide. And what happens, you get a chemical reaction, might be the wrong word, but there's a reaction and it creates a
what temperature? What temperature are you talking about?
I'm not sure of the specifics, but the principle I'm trying to explain to you is, yes, there is sometimes natural water vapor, but that comes off the wing.
Always at those very, very high, at those very
you're
high
missing the
flight
important
elevations.
bit. The important bit, though, Sid, is that's not coming from exhaust emissions from the jet fuel. That's coming from condensation off the wing, right? So we're both correct. I'm actually sort of.
Those are the ones that take a while to disperse. The ones.
I mean, I'm not laughing at you for thinking water vapor.
The one that you said takes a while to disperse, right?
I'm actually helping you because you are correct.
Yes.
There is water vapor, but that comes off the wing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So the one that you said.
I'm still trying.
So the one that comes off the wings. The one that comes off the wings is the one that takes a while to disperse. Correct?
The what? Sorry.
That takes a while to disperse.
Well, this is where if you just let me explain.
I'm trying to follow you along. Okay, so this vapor comes off the wing, and the plane leaves, and it's the trail starts to disperse, right?
Let me know when I'm allowed to answer the questions you're asking.
The vapor trail starts.
Let me know. Just let me know when I'm allowed to answer the questions, because so far you're answering your own questions.
Okay, I'm asking you a question.
Wrongly, may I add.
I'm asking a question. Please let me do that. So the vapor trail that disperses over time, long after the plane has left.
Tops.
Excuse me.
Water vapor.
Excuse me. I have not finished asking the question. I will let you know when I'm finished asking the question. So the vapor trail that disperses long after the plane has left the area is what we're talking about, right? Carry on.
No. Right. That water vapor that you're talking about that does naturally occur and did occur even in the 70s and the 80s, that vapor trail disperses within 30 minutes, and that's in rare conditions. That a lot of the time it disperses within minutes, which is why even today when you're getting a non-chemtrailing plane go by, sometimes the trail they leave, you can see it sort of, I'd say half a mile behind the plane, it's disappearing, and you just get like a half-mile length of trail that is sort of, it looks like it's hanging onto the back of the plane, because any further than that distance away from the plane, it's evaporated and disappeared. It's totally dispersed now and diffused into the atmosphere. Now this is hold on. Now this is where the important bit coming up. We've got to insert the important bit.
We have the technology.
Now this is where the change comes in. Because what we are noticing nowadays with modern fuels and modern planes is that trail, not only does it stay there for hours and hours and hours, sometimes like nearly a day, it actually disperses where it spreads. And you can see it visually spreading as if it's expanding. And it will form clouds, and them clouds then stay there in the atmosphere.
Right.
And and rain God knows what down onto us. Now, that was never seen in the 70s and 80s. Now, there is a possible argument that it's just the modern jet fuel. There's other additives we don't need to worry about, but this is the result of that. And that's where the chemtrail theory comes from. It's because natural water vapor will disperse within half an hour. You will see a plane goes by, half hour later, you will see no trail from that plane. That's water vapor. And you do still see that on some planes. But then why is it that some planes leave one that lasts for like half a day, and not only does it last for half a day, it grows into an actual cloud formation, and then it's permanently there until it rains or moves to a different area and then rains. And this is I don't know the answers. I mean, this is how it could. A lot of people say, oh, imagine the amount of people that would need to be involved in that for that to happen, which is another bullshit claim, because you only need one person at the jet fuel factory that controls the distribution of the jet fuel. It's like mixing. It's a mixing. Yeah, one guy needs to go up to that tank that's got normal jet fuel in it, dump all the shit they want in it, mix it all up. Bob's your uncle. Pilots don't check the fuel. They just go to the tank and it's fueled up for them. So the pilots don't need to know. I mean, there's all this argument about, oh, well, how many pilots would need to be in on the scam? None. That's how many pilots would need to be in on the scam.
As well.
I mean, there's footage of planes. Now, this blows the natural mist theory out of the water. There is footage of planes going through the atmosphere where they're turning it on and off, as if it's in a separate cylinder, not in the fuel, and it's released into it in periods.
And there's video where they let the chemtrail on.
Now, if that was natural vapor formation, it would be a constant formation, because the plane's going at a constant speed. It's not speeding up, forming a cloud, and then slowing down where there is no trail. You can literally see it. Chug, chug. It's like it's throwing it out for 5 seconds, then it stops throwing it out. Then it throws it out for 5 seconds, then it stops throwing it out.
Tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
I want to educate. I'm not here to fight you. We're here to educate, you know? We're here to learn, you know? I don't want to be enemies, you know? I wouldn't wish that for anything, you know? I'm reading a document here right now, yeah?
Okay, this is it. I want to introduce Jim and Hunter into the conversation, who probably have, neither of them have any idea what you're talking about either. Jim, Hunter, anyone?
Yeah, I don't know where this conversation's going or anything. I kind of came in the middle of it. Yeah, I kind of came in the middle, so I didn't know like what was exactly being talked about. So that's why I was wondering. But I still have no idea.
Yeah, not a damn clue either. Chemtrails. They think that we're being poisoned by the government or something. It's just weird stuff.
Oh, are you talking about?
There are some conspiracies that are very true. He asked me for one. I didn't even mention chemtrails. I mentioned something else. Banking, LIBOR rigging, the interest rate rigging. That's a very real conspiracy. Somehow we got onto chemtrails, and that's what we were talking about when you came in, about the chemtrails behind planes.
Yeah.
Somehow we got onto chemtrails. Somehow.
Because it's an easier argument for you to dismiss the banking fraud.
Oi.
No, I just honestly can't remember how it came up. But I know that chemtrails is an easier conspiracy for you to dismiss than banking fraud.
Yeah.
Banking fraud is very real. But you don't seem to want to address that because it proves that conspiracies are real.
Once you debunk the chemtrails conspiracy, then consider all your conspiracy theories debunked.
Why is there a treaty in Canada, agreement between Canada and the United States of America, relating to the exchange of information on weather modification activities?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Here's a question for you, Sid. Do you believe? Do you believe that the HARP technology actually exists or not? Let's do it step by step. HARP. H-A-A-R-P. Is it double A or double R? H-A-A-R-P in it. HARP. It's weather modification technology where they can make it rain at will, make it cloudy at will.
Earthquakes, the whole what?
Do you believe that technology? So you don't know, or you don't believe it does? Or?
Oh yeah, I do. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like the chemtrails and everything. Like that's been disputed so many times, but there's no way. Because okay, you know, like when a plane is traveling and you see that long line of trail behind them, you know what I'm talking about? That's what they're talking about. That there's chemical, like chemicals in it to make it rain or cloudy or snow or change the atmosphere pressure and all that. But that's actually completely false. The only reason why they have that is so that they can trail where they're. It's kind of like footsteps in the snow. It's a trail behind them to let them know where they've been to other airplanes and everything. There's no.
It's not generated by anything but the height or the altitude that the plane is traveling at, and the presence of moisture in the air.
Yeah, that too.
Still not quite sure I understand.
Ground-based system. Imagine lots of pylons on the ground in like a grid formation, like a chessboard.
HARP was meant to be used to communicate with deep sea submarines, but they knew what its powers really could do. HARP, high auroral. Hang on.
Is it atmospheric something? I can't remember myself now. My point is
high frequency active auroral research program. High frequency active auroral research program.
That's it.
I'm armed with facts. They were to use HARP, to communicate with deep sea submarines. They knew what its power is. You know the tsunami that affected the Middle East, whatever, back in 2005? Remember that? Or the Japanese one?
No, you know what? If you guys want to talk conspiracy theory, talk about something that we can relate to. Talk about the Malaysian Airlines MH170 or whatever.
Well, when it was tracked by iPhone.
The ones that they haven't found it. The plane that disappeared that they haven't found it.
They found it. It was tracked by iPhone.
They found it. They haven't found it. So why don't we talk about conspiracy theory? Maybe there's something behind there. Why haven't they found it?
Do you see how absurd this is? You don't believe in conspiracies, and yet you're picking and choosing which ones you want to talk about. But I've already mentioned banking fraud and LIBOR interest rate rigging, but you don't want to talk about that one because it's easy to dismiss. Because it's not as easy to dismiss. Next, you'll be demanding that I defend flat Earth when I'm not even a flat earther. I'm not even massively into chemtrails. I can predict your methodology of derailing it onto a topic that's easy for you to deal with. Because you want to stick. You're the one seeking, what is it, confirmation bias. I'm not. I'm open-minded to all these conspiracies. I'm non-committal. I don't commit to, oh yes, chemtrails are real. No, I'm just not as assumptuous, and don't try to straw man people. No, I don't. That's a false statement. See, you keep throwing false accusations. So how is that so then? What am I claiming to know that I can't know? Because so far I've still not finished the sentence yet without being interrupted. I haven't finished asking the question. Well, it was. Well, I'll let you carry on then.
Okay, well, I can carry on, no problem. I've had a lot of hangouts with you, right? Not a problem. And laugh at people like me who discount God totally, like I do.
Again, false. I don't laugh at people. We'll carry on.
Well, you don't take us seriously.
No, I think it's a foolish stance because we are living proof of a creation of some sort, and therefore, by inference, there is some sort of creational entity. Yes. What that creational entity is, we don't know.
Yes. Now, that cognitive dissonance to me shows that you are someone who needs to be brought into...
See, that is not cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you believe something that counter to something else you believe. I'm just correcting. Well, I can sit here and let you paint a false picture if it suits your modus operandi.
Hunter's got something to say. He's a young guy. He's got some very interesting views. Have you guys met? Has Tom and Hunter, have you met each other?
I don't think so. I think I recognise the voice. I've probably heard him in a few hangouts before. I'm not sure.
Well, if it helps y'all, I'm a moderator for Steve McRae's Great Debate Community, and I'm in a lot of the...
Probably Steve McRae's then. I'm banned from there for pointing out that Bulldog asked someone to get the dick out on camera. So to Steve McRae would rather have a pedo in his room than me.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, no, I was going to say, what? Crap. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say, so carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, that kind of happens when people interrupt. I think we're all guilty of it at times, but we need to sort of stop it.
Well, any of y'all were in the Hangout last night, man. I was talking to a guy named Sty, and I could not get a single word out whatsoever. And then everybody was yelling over each other, so I was like...
I kicked Sty out, but way too late. I kicked him out just after you guys had I know somebody said, that's it, I fucking had it, let's get the fuck out of here. And that's when I kicked him, but everybody had left.
Yeah, that was...
So just to conclude here, don't worry about that happening again.
Yeah. Is he an alcoholic?
I don't know. Let's not get personal, but I don't know.
No, it's just a Liverpudlian. He's just a scouser. They're like that without any alcohol. But I think he does drink, which doesn't help.
I got you.
But I can't talk. I passed out in the Hangout about 3:30 this morning. Yeah, I think I woke up, went out, came back shopping, and I'd left it on. It had gone into standby, my laptop, and I thought I'd turned everything off. And I opened the screen up, and I was still in the Hangout all on my own. Like, fucking hell, I'm still in it. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what's everybody's standpoint on creation? Because I know, like, Phantom, you say that there is creation because we are created, or...
Well...
Can nobody hear me talk?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Amy says no one can hear me talk. Amy says my mic is down. You can't hear me talk.
Is it, are you feeding through a third-party thing? Have you got your mic disabled on the...
Well, let me see if I can do it this way. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Will the feed here with the people watching on the YouTube channel?
Can they hear us or none of us? Or just
Wait, is this live?
Yeah.
Is this live?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even say where it's live at, so I didn't even know.
Sid's broadcasting this Hangout through Manycam and broadcasting from, well, not Manycam, but broadcasting through an encoder. So it's live on YouTube, but it's not coming live from the Hangout, if you know what I mean.
Oh, and does anybody have a link to the YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I'll put a link inside.
Sweet. I like to look at the chat and see what people say. Whoops.
Well, so far the chat is Ninja.
Oh.
Ninja and Noel in the chat.
I don't see why they don't just join.
The artist says, hi, I love atheists.
So where's Amy?
Amy's in the side chat.
Well, on Google.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm with it. Oh, she can hear us, but she can't hear you. Turned off history, turned off join using a link, and then left. No idea.
Coming in a minute.
Where y'all from, by the way?
I'm from the UK. How are you?
We're from conspiracy land.
Well, we're not an island. We're bigger than that island compared to America. You can call us an island, yeah. But there's 700 miles, is it?
I just hear different accents, so that's what I was wondering.
Bands.
Yeah, we're on Birmingham, UK. It's up north.
Oh.
England's weird compared to America. I mean, I'm in Birmingham. If I go 5 miles in any direction, you hit a new accent.
Well, there's 800 from top to bottom. 837 miles. Oh. Fuck, will I travel out of the day?
Now we know.
Fuck yeah, I got 14 hours.
Where are you from? Hunter.
I said 14 hours. I was right. Shit.
Would somebody say my name?
Yeah, whereabouts you from America?
Does anybody know where Louisiana is?
How you doing?
I've heard of it. I'm not sure where it is.
It's 14 hours from Land's End to John O'Groats. 14 hours, 14 minutes. Got that right? That's how you predict that.
Well, okay, put it like this. Do y'all know where Elvis Presley lived? Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, that's my hometown. I'm down here for college, so I mean, just to
Memphis, nice.
Yeah, so it's horrible.
You have a nice Memphis accent, buddy.
Yeah, well, people call it a southern accent, so it tends to come out from time to time. So
that's cool.
Rural area or built up city type urban.
Yeah. So, but no, Memphis crime rate is so bad. I got tired of it. So I'm glad I'm out of there for now. But I'm going back in 2 weeks for the holidays. Thanksgiving and all. Since I'm in college. So.
Are you old enough to vote?
Yes, I'm 22, but I'm not registered in the state of Louisiana, so I actually am not going to be able to vote.
Who would you vote for? Just out of curiosity.
Oh goodness.
The murderer or the rapist?
Well, honestly, it's really the choosing of two evils, really the best of two evils at this point, and I just cannot trust Hillary. I just can't. And Trump, he's not the smartest guy in the world. But I mean, I can't trust Hillary to save my life, and that bothers me a lot.
Yeah, it's not a position to be in if you're an American. It's not a nice position. I honestly believe that Trump was put forward as a candidate to make Hillary electable. I think if she was up against anyone else, she'd lose hands down.
Yeah, I can see that. But what's funny though is a lot of I've heard more than not that there's no way Hillary can win at this point because she actually almost got arrested. I think it was yesterday by New York, but the Obama Justice told them to don't lay a hand on her, so she got out of it because apparently with the more emails or something like that, there's a laptop that had everything on it. And it was huge chaos, and she was gonna get arrested, but the justice system of Obama or something like that told them do not lay a hand on her, and she got away free, just because they said that with no reason to or anything. Just told them don't even touch her.
See, there you go, Sid. Another conspiracy that's factual.
Thank you.
Hunter, what's your thoughts about conspiracies? Are there some you believe, or do you think it's all crackpot?
Not really all of them, because I mean, for instance, the Watergate scandal was a conspiracy theory, and that turned out to be true. I'm trying to think. Do what?
9/11.
Well, okay, I was actually going to go to that. I actually have, man, I think the 9/11 conspiracy is a bunch of horse crap, to be honest.
Well, I hate to say it, but I found a list online, it was later deleted, about the debris pile that was missing from both trade centers. 20,000 miles of wiring was missing. That's from here to Australia and back again.
Well, because the reason why I think it's a bunch of horse crap.
Now, you know as well as I do, from top one, the buildings were not in flames or burning, right?
Yeah.
Where did all the contents, where did all the phones go and all the rest of it? I've got the list. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, see, this is why I have a hard time believing it, because my ex-girlfriend, her grandfather is a lieutenant in the fire department in Memphis, and he got called to New York after it happened and everything. And he had pictures that were not even allowed to be published out or anything. And talking about like with the Pentagon, a lot of people think that it was a missile that hit the Pentagon. Now, I don't know. Do you believe that there was a missile that hit the Pentagon?
Well, from what I've seen of the Pentagon side of things, it would be impossible for a plane to have hit it. And plus the hole and the pictures we see of the aftermath. Where's the plane?
Hang on, I can actually hold on. I actually can answer that. Let me pull up something real quick.
Yeah. Do you know how to screen share? Do you know how to screen share? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to do that real quick.
Read the side chat. I'm posting it now.
How's it going, Tom?
All right, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Tommy. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Looking good, kid. Looking good.
Yeah, cheers. I feel a bit better than I did, like.
Hang on a minute.
I've been entertaining things for you. I was
right.
last night. I was being his stress ball for him to.
Well, do you know what? I haven't seen him since I said set a live hangout up. We will ring the drugs and alcohol place. I'll put it on loudspeaker. But it's got to be a live hangout so everybody can see. I said, and we'll ring it up and then we'll get the truth that way, won't we? I'll ask him when I last went in. What happened on test? Were it negative, positive? Let's fucking get the truth out there. And he didn't invite me, Tom. He didn't invite me. I don't know why he didn't invite me, like, but I think he knew he was going to get blown out. See, I couldn't find my little slip because I asked him to do me an handwritten slip to say that I'd been in, you know, to say what had happened, etc. And it's to a who it may concern letter. And he gives his name. You know what I mean? It just says to whom it may concern. I can confirm Mr. Whitehead, date of birth, as today tested negative for morphine, stroke, heroin. Signed Miles, John, Summer, M. Thomas. So, you know what I mean? And it's like, they'll say, oh, that's just a slip of paper, anyone can get one of them. But I'm like, well, his name's on it, the phone number's there, let's phone him. What can I do, Tom? You know what I mean? That's all I can do.
Yeah.
But Fizz is like, well, you know, like, do 10 star jumps, like show me what's in your fridge, you know, like
yeah,
show me your socks.
You
know,
he's doing that with me last
night. You know, like, and I'm like, hang on a minute, like, come on camera then, please, like, you're on about my physique, like, please come on with your shirt off.
He's full of questions, but you ask him a question and he soon runs off.
Not allowed, you know, same with Bulldog, not allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't spoke for, a few weeks, Tom. Well, over a month.
You're looking good. You still, have you got on the weights bench yet?
Tom, I've just started in gym last week because I thought I'd be able to use gym straight away, right? But, I mean, I'm lucky because, like the manager knows about my arm and all that, right? So, I said to him, like, I've only seen him a few times at work. He's very rarely there, like, because I go in a bit later. But I said to him, you know, I can't wait till I can start using gym and that. You know what I mean? I said, when will I get my membership? Do you think? And he said, listen. He said, you work here now. He said, you can use gym, you can use steam room. He said, use all the facilities. He said, you don't matter that you're just a cleaner. He said, you're part of this team now, so. And I said, look, thank you very much. You know, I said, you don't know how much it means to me. Like, He said, no, I do. You know what I mean? He said, get up them stairs, man. He said, and, you know, put some weight on and do what you need to do. And I was like, you know, Jesus, thank you. So last week, Tom, I started back, right? And say no more. There's a guy at work. I'm not mentioning no names, etc. But there's a certain guy at work from day one.
Hello.
I've just sensed, you know, he don't like me. You know, like, I just sense a bit, I don't know, I won't say jealousy, like, what's he got to be jealous of, but, like, because I get on with everyone and all that, I can just sense a bit, do you know what I mean, territorial type, you know, being a man, you know how it is.
You can't be too friendly with the new guy if there's a miserable bastard that works.
Exactly.
How are you this weekend, Tom?
2 seconds, Gimme. So, say no more, Tom, I've gone in gym Monday and he's come running upstairs, like, and he's gone, here, can I have a word with you? I've gone, yeah, what's up, like? And he's always been doing this since I started, like. And I said, what's up? He said, you're not allowed to use gym. He said, everybody who works here, they've had to wait 3 months before they're allowed, you know, to get to use gym, like. And I said, do you know the manager, Ian? He said,
hold on,
yeah.
who's this that said that to you?
Just a guy at work, Tom. I'm mentioning no names, you know what I mean?
An employee or one of the...
Yeah, employee, mate. But he's been there about 15 years, so, you know, he's like, he thinks he owns fucking place, to be fair, like. But I said, do you know the manager here? And he says, yeah. I said, do you know he's given me permission to use the gym? He said, oh, no. I said, well, if you go and ask the manager, he'll fill you in, son. Up with dumbbells, fucking new one. Right? Anyway, say no more. I've got downstairs and we're allowed like a staff coffee and that, or, you know, a warm drink, like. And I said, am I all right for a coffee? To a woman behind thing, like Sharon, she's called. And she says, how many hours do you do? I says, 3. She said, I'm sorry, but this guy, so-and-so, said, you're not allowed one. And I went, all right. I said, that's his next move, is it? I says, it don't matter. I don't want to drink. You know what I mean? It don't matter. She says, look, hang on a minute. So she's gone upstairs to see one of, you know, someone who's a bit higher up, like, and she come back down and she said, in front of him, right, and she said, Stuart, I've just seen Dawn, and she said, you can have a drink whenever you want.
I was going to say, that's a wanker.
And I was like, nice one. I said, I don't even want one.
Yeah. Oh, sounds like you've got an arsehole working there, kid.
But next day, Tom, I've gone to work and I've gone in gym, like, and he's come up with, like, you get these Nuffield water bottles. They're about £5 to buy, you know, like, for mixing your protein stuff up in and all that, like.
Yeah.
And he come up with one of them, he says, hey, I brought you a present, like. So we sort of tried to make it up, do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, cheers, you know what I mean? Like.
Sure he didn't piss in it or dip his dick in it?
Might have done, like. Might have done, you know what I mean? He's got a beard, hasn't he? You know, might shave a bit of his beard or something in it, or give him a bit care.
Flick, you know, crabs in there.
Bless you.
Yeah, so you've been all right. Yeah, sorry, Gimmick, man. I just wanted to tell him that bit.
Oh, it's cool. How you been this weekend, Tom? Been good? Been busy?
Yeah, but I young man. Yeah, I've been buzzing. Yeah.
How is she?
Yeah, she's sound, mate.
I've still got this bit of this cold. This morning, my nose is all bunged up. I was like, here we go. It's fucking cold. It's cold out. Yo.
I'll tell you what I've just bought.
Go on, then.
It's called, I'll show you, man. I'll show you. Oh, shit. That's nearly ready.
Manuka.
Super Honey, it's called.
Nice one. Where's that? Where's that to? I've seen that brand.
It's Rouse, yeah, but you get honey and Manuka. So it's got Manuka honey in it. It's £6. Just for that little one.
As is opening here Monday. There's giving loads of chocolate earlier. I'll get one. I'm going to get one on Monday.
If you go on my Facebook, you mate, that Manuka thing, what you liked on my Facebook thing, I think you liked it or you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's 27 quid on there for a kilogram. So if you can afford it, you're better off buying that, to be honest.
Yeah. I need to get some. As it opens here Monday, so I'm saving some money back to go there to do that.
Listen, what it is, yeah, with Manuka honey, it's like in grades, right? You get like different grades, right? And that what I've got, shit. I'll be honest, it's just like sugar, right? It might have a tiny bit of Manuka honey in it, but that stuff what you can get online, it's called doctor grade. It's doctor grade Manuka honey.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's the one. Do you know what I mean? Like how you know it's Goodman who Cunny is like we're telling our young and they got these glass slides and they put bacteria on it.
Yep.
And they put different honey on these slides and normal honey don't do out, but Manuka honey kills all the fucking bacteria like.
I agree, that's all I want to get some out there.
Simple, isn't it?
Simple solution. How's Ellie been anyway?
Right, I'm just putting Ireland's tea out.
Oh, bless. What's she having?
Because she's worth it. She's worth it.
I was had a sausage roll and a mince beef hot pot.